Hey guys, yeah, welcome back in. A couple hours to go here on a Friday afternoon as we head towards the weekend. We just got a Krispy Kreme delivery, so whoever that was from, thank you very much. Let's talk about what is happening as far as the market is concerned. Back to positive territory we go after an initial move to the downside this morning, coming off that December jobs number. If you missed it, yeah, higher than expected. 216,000 is the number that comes through this morning for December versus 170,000 expected. So the market taking that as a bit of a sign. Maybe there's still a little bit more strength hanging around than everyone thinks there is, including Fed Chair Powell, and maybe we do see some of those cuts that were priced in coming back out a little bit for the time being. Remember on Thursday we got jobless claims numbers that were much higher than expected as well, or sorry, lower than expected on the jobless claims, but 216,000 for the December non-farm payrolls. A few things moving around right now, including, yeah, Tesla back to the upside. We'll talk about it coming up here, 0.4. It's been a bit of a back and forth kind of a day. There was that recall announced over in China, quote unquote recall. A software update, essentially, is going to come through for million-plus vehicles. It's exactly the same issue as they were having in the U.S. Remember, it was like 200,000 or something in the U.S. Over in China, ends up being 1.3 million. This company, meanwhile, Sing, on our system, it's a NYSE ARC exchange. It's a recent listing on CBOE US. CEO of the company, Will Ralston, going to come through this afternoon, 2:45. Stand by for that. Again, SING. Anybody on P-Pro 8, SING, it'll be routed to the NYSE ARC exchange, CBOE US, for single point. So we'll have a look at that company, talk to the CEO coming up at 2:45. There's the board right now. A decent amount of green still on here. Overall, the market not overly positive, and partially due to these. Procter & Gamble, Coke, Pepsi, Philip Morris down here, Walmart, to name a few, all in negative territory. TJX there in the red as well. Home Depot offsetting. Costco with huge month-over-month or monthly sales numbers out this morning. 10% higher this year than last year. We were talking about Costco earlier in the week. Amazon to the upside today. Banks are strong. Nvidia, AMD, Intel, we'll talk about those coming up. But these three right here, Microsoft, Google, and Apple, kind of flat. So overall the market is positive, but only just. I was reading through this note just before we came back on here at 2 o'clock. Analysts saying, yeah, they're still pointing to this AI gold rush, quote unquote gold rush, going to come in the next year. So Nvidia just so strong today. It's been nothing but upside all day long. A couple of positive notes as far as AI in general is concerned. So they even mentioned in that one C3 AI, so we can look at AI as well, but Nvidia having a really nice day. As we mentioned, Tesla here, 0.42, still in positive territory on the board, but we were discussing this recall over in China. Again, 1.6 million vehicles in China going to need a software update, so not a big deal, but Tesla, guys, still positive.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
So NVIDIA has been a rocket ship, and just throwing it out there, C3 AI down at the lows. So what goes up? That one, it's interesting because that was breaking out this morning, but no longer and not so much for you, C3 AI. Welcome back, everybody. Well, you didn't really go anywhere. You had some fun in the midday show. It's gearing up to be an interesting afternoon because the market's green right now, but making lower highs. So like the trend since we left you has been pulling back off of the top, but we're actually up on the day. Speaking of up on the day, Tesla is up on the day. I'm in Rivian. I just took that short, and it probably will come out pretty soon. So I'm going to quickly pivot there just to go over this. Rivian's at the low when things are looking strong, so I wanted to short a weak stock back into the bottom. So that is the previous low. I shorted pretty much exactly there, giving it to this like 26 local high, and I actually just added to it. So this is a case of I'm seeing other things look strong and break out, especially related, and I'm looking for the fade. We talked about Fisker during the midday show, I think, so I think you guys, most people probably know about that. They did a bit of a flat bottom break. Tesla's all you, but I'm probably, in about 5 cents, I think I get stopped out of Rivian, but I like that it's relatively weak down here.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Shout out, I saw someone in the chat say dad life. We have a dad mug.
Nice.
Right here. Yeah, I saw it in there. Rob's given it to us a couple times.
I get the what's the one with the...
There's so many different
on it.
Oh, yeah, I've got that poo emoji. a couple times. It's fun. You got to have some fun cups. The llama one is also very fun. But we've already had a big day today. We had some diamond hands earlier on Tesla. And again, Sharif thought I was meaning as a biblical reference, but as it was written, Nas reference.
That's a Nas rep, yeah.
Nas. Nas and JC, shout out. But look at this. Nice move there. We shorted it, man. We shorted a decent amount of shares, and we were able to hold something all the way down here. It was a $3 winner, so it's not a $1, a $2, or a $3 club right there. But that bottom of 226, we had it the whole way, and I put the stop at 237 when it was there, right? So we took that out. It was pretty good. Then when it broke lower, I actually said to some traders in the chat, I was like, I'm going to go short again. On that break again, because I thought like maybe we could have just kept on going, but as we just highlighted, the market is still on the way back up. So there it is. We started to build a short now against 240. I'm going to take more shares up here. We could turn our day red on Tesla, and the reason why, again, not following our own plan. If we just leave Tesla alone and hit this, it's the #1 P&L stock here, Tesla. You can't take a $3 winner and not make money on it. That's impossible. But now we forgot about our strategy, and now we're starting to short it all the way up. Look, I'm sure there's no VWAP, there's no 200, there's no nothing. I should have waited for this, so I'm going to be punished for sure on this trade. But we're short right now, 238.75. I'm not getting out at all until we break through 240, and if that turns me red on this stock, it turns me red. It's my own stupidity. I shouldn't be in this so early, but it is what it is, and let's see what does happen, man. We've got a big trade on Affirm. Our Apple trade was pretty great. We'll talk about that. Anyways, let's just keep on going. It's PayPal. That's the big loser for me here today, and we'll discuss that as we go as well.
Somehow the temperature has fallen an entire degree once again. So
there's hot and cold.
And freezing and nothing in between. I don't know. Apple has had a pretty negative week overall. This is a 15-minute chart, so it goes back to Monday, even showing Friday there. But back to the upside here. We were discussing this Foxconn note a little bit this morning on the production side of things. I mean, there's so many things, so many angles we can discuss when it comes to Apple, obviously, if you missed it. Last week, the $3,500 VR headset going to maybe show up in a store even before the end of this month.
And you know what I heard about this one? You actually have to have it fitted, Brendo. You can't just go in and buy it off the shelf. They got to fit it to your head, and so you got to go into the store to buy it. Look, it hasn't been a good week for Apple at all. Barclays downgrading this on Tuesday has started everything off, saying that they expect weak iPhone 16 demand based on the fact that there isn't that much iPhone 15 demand, or what they say. Today, it's a Foxconn headline bringing this one down again. Foxconn expecting year-over-year drop in revenue in the first quarter of 2024, coming off a high base, they say, after slower market demand has impacted the prior quarter, Brendo.
As I was mentioning, yeah, back to 182 here for Apple, basically where we ended yesterday. But, I mean, due for a bounce here, guys, but this was pretty uneventful for Apple.
I don't know. It moved. I'd say it moved today. Like, if the first thing that happened when we sat down in the morning, what happened at 8:30? At 8:30, we had the economic number, we had NFP, and the market was tanking. It broke the lows, it made lower lows, but Apple decided it was not going to break the 180 level. And this is something we talked about for the last couple of weeks. Apple falling into the 180 level on the 200 period moving average. So before the number came out, and we talked about this, in my note I was like, this is the first day I'm looking for a bounce on Apple, and the 180 is the reason for it. So what happened at 8:30? The market pressed to the downside. I watched as it could not break 180. I took a quick long. It was pretty easy. It bounced off there, got right into the pre-market level. The only thing that you could do differently is I could have reloaded it, but at that particular point, can't lie to you. Like I think we're both looking for shorts at that point based on the reaction, and it had gone all the way to the top and was retesting the low. At that point, it didn't feel like the market was telling me to go long. But for a snap trade, as the lows are being broken, it's holding a pretty big level that we're all interested in. And then off the open, it essentially just did that thing which we've been doing every single day, which was pop into previous resistance. I shorted that back into VWAP. So had the long, had the short. I'd say Apple was pretty interesting. The fact it's going to close green today, it's kind of green. It's up 0.8%. So it's not like heroics for Apple, but it is a start, and it was at the exact right level.
I mean, this is like Neil. I can't even find my sticky note, but it doesn't matter. It's right here, right now. Look, here it is on my computer. We wrote down that we wanted to short 183, right? And so we shorted 183, not once but twice. So Apple, there it goes, man. It's like we said, Tesla was number one for me until now. I'm holding. Well, actually, no. Apple was always number one for me. So this is a big trade. There's not much else to say. We got some revenge on this name. Yesterday, we punched the top and lost because we were short this basically exact same level, and we lost, and we flipped long. Today, we held the short and got some pretty damn good revenge in the spot of $1.20, $1.40. So Apple, thank you so much. Let's just keep on rocking and rolling, man. I like the stock. I think a buy at 180 at some point. I think Apple continues to go lower. We'll talk about it all tonight on the podcast. But honestly, man, it's the number two name on here. We had the Tesla. Like for me, man, Tesla's number one stock, Apple's number two. It's the number one and two ideas right here. So, I mean, go find it. I'm not going to show it anymore, but it's a sticky note. It's up there. It's at Trader TV, Sean. Let's just keep on printing. Oh, by the way, here we go. I didn't want to ignore Comp SRX once to answer a question that I had. All right, earlier today you shorted Tesla from 239 to 237. Yeah, no, it's just, we wrote it down. We already liked the Tesla level. We already looked at this earlier on there, Comp SRX1. And what I was looking at was just this little level right there. That's 240, 240, 240, 240. So we just shorted. See, like these little bumps, that's 240.20, right? We had 240 right there. Then we had that huge trade last night. I had the same trade last night. So I had this trade, this exact trade right here yesterday at 340. We had it all afternoon, actually, from 3 o'clock to 340. So when it came through, you know, we have to follow and be true to ourselves and take the trades and the ideas that we wrote down. Because, like I said on the market recap show, we also do sticky note review now, and it's been a really popular segment, and it just shows, it's even shown me that a lot of the trades that we write down are actually turned out to be pretty good, and I should just follow them a little more carefully to my own degree. So that's why we did it. I hope that's good enough question. Answer, why did I hold it all the way down here? Because we only had a small piece left. And we try to do that. This is that 10% piece again. The bigger piece is out right here at VWAP at 238, right? So that's the bigger piece. We held it all the way down. We were hoping that it was going to break lower. I said that once it broke through 237, that was going to be my stop. So that's the stop. Comp SRX1, love you. Thank you for the question.
All right, let's talk Palantir with a Jefferies downgrade this morning. Another one that gapped to the downside, kind of grinding upside ever since. $16 was not only yesterday's support, but 2 days ago support as well. But Jefferies with the downgrade on PLTR this morning.
Yeah, Jefferies analyst Brent Hill expressing concern here about the stock rallying to unsustainable levels, as he called it, and says, you know, basically riding the AI euphoria. He also says he doesn't really see much of a monetization strategy here, and he expects longer than expected demand recovery in the company's commercial and government business will weigh down growth in 2024, Brendo. Stock was up 167% in 2023.
Yeah, impressive, as we've touched on. Big shout out to CompuCare team as well, coming through with the Krispy Kreme donuts this afternoon. So much appreciated. Ramin is asking where those are at, guys.
Don't tell her.
Obi, it's time. They came and Mateo brought them, and it just said, I'm glad that we got it confirmed there. So thank you so much, CompuCare.
Thanks, brother.
Obi, it's time. Obi's selling the Krispy Kreme donuts on the street. This guy's
I'm just gonna go get them.
This guy's a hustler right now. All right, man. Look, to me, thank you so much, CompuCare. It came it said to Sean, and I was like, can't be just for us. So we're definitely glad that we've clarified all that. Here we go. Obi, here he is.
Something special came for you guys. It says,
It's from CompuCare. We figured it out.
delivery.
Thank you, Obi. How's your trading going today?
It's okay. Can be better, like always.
Good. Plans this weekend?
Review the trades.
Review the trades. Boring. Get out of here.
All right.
All right, see ya.
But you will see more of Obi
All
on
right.
Monday for the midday. He's going to be filling in for Sharif, and we know what he's going to do.
All right.
There we go.
Yeah. reviewing
one of them.
reviewing
I'm
trades.
not going to open both of them.
Yeah. Ramin, apparently Ramin is like jonesing for these over. All right, here we go. Just brutalizing this box if you want to get it open. Oh, there it is. Must be from DoorDash. Kaboom! The best part about Krispy Kreme donuts is Tesla right now. We're going to the downside on Tesla, by the way. We will talk about Palantir. There it is. Thank you so much for Mr. CompuCare. Look, man, not every trade is built the same. We are absolutely cash money today on Palantir. And by the way, let's go, man. Here comes Tesla. We're really doing it now on Tesla. Good hold back down into the downside now. There comes Tesla. We've taken a little bit of profit out right there. Thank you so much, CompuCare. But we're talking about Palantir. Look, man, like I said, we wrote this down on the sticky note that we wanted to go short right here. We use 16.15 as our out. It never broke. So Palantir is a money kind of symbol right there. So we love Palantir today. It's been a fantastic trade. I hate going short on it as I'm a huge Palantir bull. But at the end of the day, you know, you trade the news, you trade what's there. Palantir today got downgraded. It was down 3 or 4%. It's really battled back. I love Palantir. But honestly, this Tesla trade is really starting to get juicy, man. Here we go. We're just a little bit in the money, but we got to take a little bit out here on this trade as it's a good one. It's Tesla and it's Brendan.
Just quickly, guys, Apple downside here. The New York Times reporting the U.S. is moving closer to filing an antitrust case against Apple. So big spike downside there on decent volume, too. It's worth mentioning. Not huge, 0.3% right now, but volume alert there just went off for Apple. Sorry.
No, we don't say sorry for telling us what the news is. On that move just to the downside, Tesla fell.
the box.
Obviously, that just saved me on Rivian. Yeah, take the box. We got 2 of them. We're not going to eat 2 boxes of Krispy Kreme donuts. I'm trying to hold off for at least a couple of minutes because those things are ridiculous and they're super absurdly sweet. Apologies for this chart. I'm having that issue in the afternoon with, I'm in Rivian. I can show you the 15, but it'll be condensed. We short out the lower high. I showed it to you earlier. It was 1 or 2 cents away when we opened the show, I said, from stopping out, and it was likely to do so, and then the market started rolling over. So it's back underneath. This is a stock that I think can get down to its 50 and 200 period moving average, which both sit just about the 1850 level. So as you saw Tesla roll into the downside, obviously with the market rolling over, Rivian's going to come too. If Apple's going down on that news, remember 180 is where it bounced in the morning on an economic number. If there's going to be something on Apple, I think it's that 180 level to look for some kind of a bounce play. But that news actually moving the stock. We're talking about flash news. Do they care or do they not care? In this particular case, you're actually getting movement on Apple. I still think 180 can be a bounce zone because it was so good in the morning. I would give it one shot if it gets maybe another 70 cents to the downside, but Apple is falling precipitously. The only long I have is Micron. It's holding on to 83 by a thread, but I suppose, we're not going to talk about chips.
Well, it was on Palantir, but we'll, here we go. Thank you so much, CompuCare team. Yeah, give them to the floor. Josh, have some donuts, my guy, right there. Okay. Look, thank you. This is CompuCare team right here, and this means a lot to me. I'm actually going to tweet this out. So if you have a thing, CompuCare, thank you so much. I'm so happy today at Sean Katina because of you. I made money every day. I did good trade on Peloton. You're welcome. Then covered a 680 AMD. That was you. So there you go again. Thank you so much, CompuCare, man. That does mean a heck of a lot to me because that's honestly why we do it. I'm going to tweet that out. Means a lot. Thank you so much. The boys, girls, everybody behind us definitely appreciates the donut. So thank you so much, my friend. And that's a good one, man. And we're doing it again right now with Tesla. So thank you. Back over to the desk.
All right, we were just watching this move in Apple on the way back up here a little bit now on pretty heavy volume as well, still 0.5%, but overall, yeah, not a huge reaction there. Let's talk PayPal. There was Palantir and PayPal on the downgrade side of things this morning. I mean, all the charts typically kind of look like this today. We get this gap to the downside, and then, I mean, PayPal was straight higher right out of the gate, a little bit stronger even than PLTR.
Yeah, BTIG with the downgrade, Brendo, from neutral to buy. Essentially, the analyst here saying, we think there is a fair amount of cleanup that needs to take place first before the stock can go back up. They believe that PayPal returning to consistent and profitable revenue growth is a multi-year initiative rather than a 2024 story. So we're going to have to see how this does. 23 of 45 brokerages rated as a buy and 22 as a hold. The stock fell 14% in 2023.
Still 2.5% back higher on that today. So a nice look here in a market that's, I mean, we're positive, but only just right now, guys.
Yeah, the PayPal has been, look, sometimes you get upgrades and downgrades, and we said this morning, it's not to go all tinfoil hat again, it's just, it is what it is. This stock had just made a reversal on the daily chart a few days ago at a pretty, not an obvious level, but it's a 200 period, it's clear resistance, and then it goes down to the 50 period today. That's exactly where it bounced yesterday and found a low, one moving average to the other. It catches a downgrade. I'm not gonna lie, I was looking at previous resistance and saying, if it pops up into this area, I'm looking for a short. That's a pretty standard, like I'd look at that setup and take it, and this is how you have to approach trading. I'm looking at that setup, and the market has been a short for the last however many days it's been. I mean, the entire week, it's been pretty weak. So I'm going to look for that trade almost every single day. And when it works, great. When it doesn't, just get out. So it pops right into previous days' resistance. There was a hot minute where it was looking pretty good at the open, and it got down in here to like the 80s, then popped back up and stopped out. Now, obviously, you could say, why wouldn't you just reverse to the long? Because I wasn't looking for a long in PayPal. The best you can do in a situation where you're going to be wrong is get the heck out of Dodge. But yeah, it's frustrating because I'll look at that and say, hey, it was a bull flag that broke out the top at resistance and continued higher. But I've got out of the way of it at least a little bit here on PayPal, and good for them. I'll tell you this much: if PayPal breaks out 64, 65. That's a trade that I'm going to be pretty interested in as a day trade. We close above this 200 period or break it out. That day I want to be there, just the way that it responded to the 50 period today. If and when it breaks that 200 period, I think PayPal, technically speaking, it doesn't really matter upgrades and downgrades. Technically speaking, it would look great if it could break it out. So we'll have to wait for that for a couple of weeks maybe.
All right. Yeah, PayPal is pretty much, well, it is the only loser that we have on. We have the TQQ trade. So today we'll go 1 for 1 with We'll go Apple, Affirm, Palantir, Peloton, Tesla, and then we have the 2 losers. So 5 and 2 today. Yeah, we just, oh, here, that's not going to show you what we did. We wrote it down. We thought the 59 short would have been good. So we had the short 59, and it was good, man. We got it out in the 80s, but then when it broke higher, this is when I turned into stubborn trader. And then we just kept on shorting. It's not bad. It's not like we took like $1 hit or anything on this trade, but it's just the shorts. We just kept on giving it back, and then that was it. So, yeah, unfortunately, a missed opportunity there to short the very, very top, but it is what it is. We're going to, again, here, be completely content and happy with everything. And I just want to, again, say thank you so much. There was a shoot ton of donuts here. Maybe we should bring them back just to advertise for you, CompuCare, because a big thank you. And I just tweeted it out. And unfortunately, if you have, go over to my Twitter. I will alter this and put in your handle if you tell me what it is. So go like this or whatever, or comment on it, CompuCare, if you do have a handle. If not, that's fine too. And I'd just love to give you some more props for that. So thank you so much for all of that. PayPal, yeah. So again, downgraded. I mean, I've been saying this forever. Every single time Apple's gotten downgraded for some like supply chain issues or something like that, it always seems to bounce back up. And it looks like maybe here again for PayPal, that may just be the case. But I'm looking here for Tesla. Again, maybe take another piece out. I mean, it's been a hell of a ride, and let's just keep taking profits on the way back in. This trade at one point was looking pretty bad, right? So let's go back into the downside, man. It's only 50 cents, but we're trying to get a little bit more on this one. Well, oh, also, Peloton coming up again, and this is all part of it. Thank you so much. There he is. Thank you, CompuCare, for everything in the chat. Ramin's now a happy lady over there.
She's the most pleased by, I'm telling you.
I'm the most pleased.
The second she saw them for those donuts, she was very
She was very happy.
Yeah, I look, whether it's donuts or it's literally just a, hey, thank you guys. Like that's what it's all about here. The fact that you're even sending stuff, that's just sort of icing on the cake. I suppose that's a bit of a pun, but we appreciate you. But let's get to some Peloton. Oh, by the Apple managed to bounce a little bit here. The tape is wild on it, but it's back up to 181, so there's some recovery happening.
Oh, I should have been on it.
Yeah, nice move here 2 days in a row for Peloton back to the upside. It was more than 10%, much more than 10% at the top there. I was just noting maybe $7, some stops got run there if there were some shorts involved. This volume today. You know, you got to go all the way back to August for the last time we had a volume day of this nature, and the news was yesterday. So maybe some stops getting run out there on Peloton. 9% still on this TikTok story.
Well, when you have a story as pressing and as important as Peloton, Brendo, I mean, it's a multi-day runner here. No, in all seriousness, guys, it's interesting because now Peloton's bringing their workout content to TikTok. They're going to have a dedicated hub on the actual platform itself. So we'll have to wait and see how this all pans out, whether you can actually use it on the big screen that comes with the bike. Just to tell you what analysts think about this, 5 of 25 brokerages rate this as a buy, 16 as a hold, and 4 as a sell. Peloton dropped 25% in 2023.
Peloton, Sharif, come on. Sorry. $7 there is where that volume came in. So still, though, pretty good couple of days here, to say the least.
Stop trying to make Peloton a thing.
It is a thing. It is a thing.
Peloton, we'll see if it ends up being a thing. Here's whether or not this succeeds. The catalyst is one that's going to get the stock excited. We talked about it being a 14.5% short float. For myself, you don't always stick to the plan because that's human. That's human nature. Absolutely nobody is going to. This is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to 100% be a robot about it. But when we talk about the 670 level, this is one of the easier things to see on a daily chart. If you're not spotting when a stock makes a huge move one direction or the other and then immediately recovers right to $6.70, pulls back, makes a triple bottom, fails 670, and then on news, for me, that's the level that I was looking for. It just so happens that if you go back to those 2 days, that's 725 and that's 750. So on the breakout in Peloton, it broke out, it actually made the move, and when it failed 25, that's where I got out of the bulk of the trade. The last of the trade. I did make a reload back at VWAP. It was looking good for a hot minute above VWAP. I then took this reload as well at the 70s, and when it couldn't hold out, I just got out of it. It does give a bunch back, but it's out 9%. It sort of goes to show there's a million ways that you can skin a cat that you can express a trade. I hate that phrase, to be honest with you. But there's a million ways that you can trade. There's a million ways that you can execute, or you can find setups. But I do think it usually starts with identifying a key price level. So once you have that, the rest sort of gets a little bit easier. So Peloton, again, I'm not a huge fan of the company. I do think at some point, like when you look at their valuation, it's only $7 now. Maybe it's enticing to somebody, but it's a great trading stock when it is in play. And today it was very much in play. I was really just looking at the 670 level.
I mean, this is. I don't have much to say, Sharif. I mean, we've already talked about this, man. I mean, we have the very bottom of the day on Peloton. We have the break that we highlighted right here on Peloton. Then we have the reload right here on Peloton. So this stock is going for a ride today, that's for sure. And we absolutely love it. I mean, it's another one. It is just another one of those names that's here. Look, the reason why it's on the sticky note is because of that news. We should have had it on yesterday. My bad. You know, it's a day 2 play. We'll take it. The reason why I liked it was very, very simple, man. It's about as simple as can be, and I think it's a long. Breaking through right here, this 675. It was the biggest trade. It was the most amount of shares, and it was. So I want to thank CompuCare again for the love on the Peloton and for everything. We just reloaded it here against 50. So here it is again. You know, my price is 54. Okay, I could show Neil, but you guys will believe me. My stop is breaking through 50. So that's 4 cents worth of risk. We just took 20 cents. So far, so good here. It's 2:30, man. Hodl, says Mr. Mems. Just thank you so much. I'm a little bit exhausted, man. It's been a very, very busy week. We have over 200 fills today. We're 5-2. We've done really well. We've done some research for the podcast coming up. It's just going to be great. I'm super excited. We've got a little bit of coffee. I maybe have to go get some more. I've let it get cold again. And I'm trying to figure out where to plug in my heater for the coffee thing here. So shout out to Obi. That was a lot of fun.
We have a solution for that.
Yeah, I know they're going to double. They're going to take away yours
gotta-
and they're going to put in an adapter. So
We have an adapter.
or an extension cord. So thank you so much, man. 'Twas an exhausting week, the Hayes Records. 'Twas indeed an exhausting week. And there goes Tesla again.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, things are about to get more exhausting here in about a second. Tesla all the way back down again. So here it is, man. Doot, 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 doot. Coming in right into VWAP again. So let's just put a bid. I actually should double check my bids because sometimes I get overfilled and I get peed off. All right, so right now we'll just bid again here at 30, see if we get that fill. But oh man, we talked about it, about every day that's a green, that's every day you're green is a good day. And today is going to be once again another good day. So let's just hold out hope that the next hour and a half gives us as many opportunities as the day has so far. So yeah, good on it, man. Congratulations to everybody in the chat that's having a big week, a big month, a big day. The Bears, I don't know if they'll be back here today or not, but you know, we do have some nice levels and some nice positions on board right now. So I'm gonna punch out a little bit there. We'll just punch out a little bit on Tesla, and I'll cancel that 30 bid and see if we get back into 238. I'm pretty excited about this trade.
Yes, sir, as you should be. But I want to go to Piper. Piper just said something in the chat, and don't worry about this, Piper. Piper said there are no green days for some.
True.
The thing about trading is not always going to be like nobody wins 100% of the days. But one of the things you can do is go back to the basics. Like find like what is the number one thing that works for you. A lot of times you might have 10 different ideas or 5 different stocks you're trading, whatever it might be. But if you find that one, like what was the first thing that maybe you traded breakouts on gappers, on small caps? I don't know. I'm just sort of throwing that out there. And then just start with that, like sort of pare back and go back to the basics. And that's generally the way to get out of a slump. At least that's what I've always found. Like what is your highest alpha? What are the things you have the most confidence in? And maybe sometimes only do that. It might mean trading less, but that's perfectly fine, man. I think, you know, this is a great community out there. I know you're going to get a lot of support. And I've been there before. Like I started red today. And I looked at that Apple trade and was like, what in the heck am I doing? Like, I like the long off 180. It gave it to me, and I decided to get out of it. But that just happens. You got to move on to the next trade. The next thing I know was shorting Apple. Like, you can't let your bias get the best of you. In that particular case, if I just sat there saying I missed the long, got out too early, if I revenge trade, I go long higher because I'm pissed off and I think it should go higher. You just got to go back to the basics and find that trade that works out for you. And thank you, Monty. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's absolutely right. The market's going to teach you something every single day. Every day is a good day because you can learn something from those markets. The market is making a little bit of, well, maybe the market's not making a bit of a bounce, but I'm in Rivian that's bouncing here a little bit. So Rivian came off those 20s, got down into 08s, and starting to pull back in. Ignore VWAP there because that chart's missing a bit of data. This is the reason I like Rivian short. I hope is a little bit obvious. Like you're actually seeing some things bounce today. Rivian doesn't have much bounce in it the last few days. It broke down and it's been trending down ever since. So when it made its first pop in the afternoon, I shorted it into the previous low. So I'm going to look for a reload back in the 20s on Rivian, down 1.8%. Not a good day for them. Oh, and Fisker, I haven't really gone over it. It's not moving a heck of a lot, but Fisker is down 9%. Fisker was these are the guys that did a flat bottom break. We talked about it this afternoon. And then it shorted the first pop after it made its second breakdown into 135. So I'm sitting in this one here to the downside on Fisker. And Micron long off of 83. We haven't really talked about the chips much. But it's NVIDIA, I think, that's stealing the show. But we forgot all about Micron the last couple of days. I think I forgot about it today. But Micron had that great bounce. It then held on to it held on to previous support for a good dip buy long. It gave about 70 cents to $1 at the open. And today it gave the same dip on that number. Apple dipped to 180. Forgot about Micron. Micron had the same dip, and it gave you that long at 81. I was short to 83. I then reversed into the long. I was talking about that with a couple of people in the chat that I would go either direction off that 83 when I was mentioning it. So I went the other way when it broke out to the upside. Sometimes you're willing to reverse. I'm sitting in that reverse now. It might be more of a scalp trade given the way this market is going, but that's perfectly fine. Sometimes in the afternoon, you can have a trade that'll just be in a tight range because of what the market is giving you. And your job as a trader is to take what the market is giving you. If the stock doesn't go 2%, there's no point trying to hope, or the market doesn't go 2%, there's no point trying to hope that a stock without a big catalyst is going to do more than just give you what is there inside of the range.
All right. So meanwhile, take a thing from Colbert. Meanwhile, we just got 238. So on Tesla to the downside. So it's just continuing to go. What do you guys want to do? You want to talk about something? All right. If there's any stocks anybody wants to put in the chat there, or we could do a little bit of Q&A. ASA, Ask Sean Anything. It was a big successful segment on the recap show. You guys could do that here again if you want. I'll talk about Affirm a little bit. Again, we don't talk about P&Ls too much, but Affirm is going to be a very, very top stock today. And it's because of this short, man. We just shorted it right there. It was pretty simple. It came up to 44 bucks. We knew we liked that level. Again, it's just an odd dollar. Like it's an even dollar level. Odd dollar, 44 is an even number. An even number, even dollar. I liked it. Made some sense to me. We shorted it and absolutely clubbed it. So we only have 10% left. We're holding that 10%, and we'll probably go short again if it gets even closer to 44 one more time. But only 10% left in Affirm. This is why it's just chill zone right now, guys. Yeah, good one there, Hayes. All right, you didn't do any Nvidia trades. No, I didn't, man. I stuck with what's good, and we always talk about this over and over and over again. You stick with what's comfortable for you. Nvidia it's just, for me, let's look at Nvidia then. You guys want to look at Nvidia? Let's do it. Okay, so I just, because I still have a short bias, I wasn't really looking long. So when sure, we have the long in Peloton, that's fine, but that's the only long I had all day was Peloton. The only, today it's an up day in the market, quite nicely. Now it's coming back a little bit. But to have only had shorts and to be printing the way we are, that just shows the focus and where you have to be. I don't like going back and forth too much. There's so many times where I've been in a stock and it's like, well, I'm short Nvidia but long AMD. It's like that; those things aren't going to work. Or I'm short Google but long Apple. It's like, wow, here we go. Tesla trying to do it again, man. Right now, Tesla's been fantastic. But Nvidia, look, great jump. If you were going to look at this, to me, the missed opportunity is yesterday's high. So it's right there. Look how good this trade was at 485. I feel like someone out there had a $10 winner for sure, or at least a $5 or $6 winner. I just wish I would have looked at this earlier. So whoever was mentioning that, Hayes Records or whoever in the chat, 100%. This 285 right there. That's crazy. It's VWAP. It's yesterday's high. It's the 50-period moving average. That's one hell of a long, and I should have had it. So that is what it is. But what else can I do? I don't have it. So right now we'll watch 484.53. That's a good little level. I don't think we're coming back to that, but we don't have it, and it's a missed opportunity for me. But like I said, we're at the highest spot we've been at all day. And we're pretty proud of everything. We're trading again, pretty fantastic, and we missed that one, so I do apologize for that. But I mean, we've given a lot of. Oh no, I apologize for it. It's just like I normally trade it. And I know there's a lot of people that rely on, especially me looking at some of the chip names. But we'll look at it again. That's why we have the sticky note. Generally speaking, everybody, if it's not going to be on the sticky note, there's going to have to be a pretty good move for me to get into it. So. Just as a rough idea, that's sort of how I'm trying to operate nowadays, and it's working, right? I mean, we had a fantastic November, December, and now January couldn't be happier, right? So yeah, so far so good. Let's just keep the momentum going. I will look at the chat in a minute to see if there was any questions for me.
There was a lot about Apple, so let's get. Obviously there was just a story for Apple, right? Like you heard, and shout out to Brendan for coming in and talking about Apple and the class action lawsuit. But I was just putting in the chat. I didn't want to interrupt, but I threw it in the chat that Apple bounced. We had said Apple was bouncing. It didn't get to 180. I would have bought if we got down closer to 180, but it was running out of steam. It's about where it runs out of steam, man. If previous support turns into resistance, I'm going to take a shot at it if I think the trend is in the other way. So I just jumped into the short here. There's once, twice, and then thrice at about 11.25, and it just tried to punch above 11.25, got about 15 cents, and then flushed down. So I'm into the short here, and if you know my trading style, wait for a key level to emerge, and then take that trade. So Apple is going to be in play. I'd say like my reason for not trading Nvidia today was because I was looking primarily at Intel to a certain degree. Like that's the chip name that I liked, and then AMD. And sometimes that's how it is. So I'm going to get to AMD in a second. I was just getting a bid out at Apple at this level in front of that 180.80, and then we'll see if it gets down to low of the day. To me, this is a scalp trade because I think 180 is support, and I don't think we're breaking it. I wouldn't be surprised if you put in a higher low. So I want to make sure we grab some profit on this. As I say that, I should be taking one-to-ones at 90s. So I'm just going to get something out in the 90s because that makes a little bit more sense from a risk-to-reward standpoint. I mean, if I'm going to risk 15 to 20 cents, then when it goes that much in the money, and I think that's the range, I should be taking something out. That's just my style of trade. It doesn't have to be everybody's. AMD was the one I was focused on most of the day after Intel, and I liked AMD short off of the 140 level. So AMD was going higher, super strong. It got to 140, pull back, stop. Short on the lower high, stopped out. So at that point, we're 1 for 2, and I just wait for the key level to show me a short again. And once it did, there's the hold, there's the consolidation. Then when it broke down that final time with the lower high, grabbed the short into VWAP. That's my style, is to retrace into VWAP when it's a strong stock. It's continuing lower at this point. And I had Intel, we get to that in a quick second, but I did want to shout out a lot of people in the chat have been talking about these small caps. So David Kyle, and it's not that we don't cover them, but a lot of times when the market is giving you moves, and when you got like Peloton was moving, and you had, I think we had PayPal as well, the 3Ps, because obviously one of them was Palantir. Apple was in play, AMD was moving, and I was trading that. I was looking at Rivian. There's so much to cover. You're probably not going to get involved. And for me, at least for myself, like there are moments when I'm trading these, and I'll have like 1 or 2, and that's my focus. But if you're not focused, you're going to get yourself hurt on these types of parabolic movers. And this AIM, I don't even know like how you the name of the company here, but AIMD, this was one of those situations where a flat bottom break. I hate calling trades easy because I don't think that's a good way to describe a trade. But in terms of look at it break that pre-market level at 330. And it bounces, and when it bounces and then turns at 330, it's one thing not to have that trade, but if you have locates on this, the risk to reward to short the teens here and stop to 30 when it's got that big of a gap, not everybody can short, but that is a pretty juicy trade because it's setting you up for 15 to 20 cents worth of risk on a stock that has moved like $3. Like that's a juicy trade. So I hope you got that one. Mr. Long Shorts, that's the way to put it. It's a straightforward trade. I like straightforward trades because at least that way you know where you're wrong, you hit it, you quit it, all that good stuff. Speaking of hitting it and quitting it, I said I was in Micron. It just made another bounce, so I was short 83s. I reversed into the long. It got to 40s, didn't take it. Reloaded here at 04s. I just got some 20s, but it's coming right back in. I'm not letting this get past the 95. So I'm going to be out of it if it gets past the 95. I'm in 2 shorts. I have 1 long. And we'll see what happens with the overall market, but I feel like the long's coming out and the shorts are going to stay. Okay, Fisker is a short as well, but I'm not counting that one.
The claws are out, baby. Right now, it's another $1.25 in the money right now as the cash cow continues over here. Oh, man. You know, like I'm just trying to create some excitement. You guys could see it. Thank you so much. I just talked to my wife because I forgot to phone her. I always try to phone her before the 2 o'clock show. She's with my daughter who's at a hockey camp right now. And I said how kind it was to have gotten the donuts. And she's like, oh, they're just trying to weigh you down and keep you in your seat all the time. And I was like, yeah, that might be true, but I got enough problems for that. So, but thank you so much again, CompuCare team. I mean, it means a lot. Thank you so much for that. I'm just going to get out right now, ring the register one more time here on Peloton. Again, man, Apple, Affirm, Palantir, Peloton, PayPal, TQs, Tesla. This is the day, man. This is the day. It doesn't, honestly, long, shorts. I remember a couple, the funny thing is, you know what? I remember a couple weeks ago, maybe it was a couple months ago, I don't remember, and someone said, oh, this guy's only long everything, or this guy's only short everything. I mean, I just play with whatever the market's giving, right? I mean, that's the whole thing. That's really changed, and why we've been able to be so successful over the last couple trading months, right? And that is like, stick with the plan, try to be calm, try to be like understanding the trades, right? And the only time And look, this is why I told you that it's going to be a monstrous year. It's going to be a monstrous year. Like, you know, we had a great year last year. We had a better year the year before. This year is going to be hopefully my best trading ever. And the reason is that, perfect. And the reason is that, we're going to go to our guest in a second. I've already identified, when I'm doing this in PayPal, this is the only losing position. We had the TQs in the morning. Well, I'll talk about that when we get back from our guest. But I know, even when I'm taking these trades, I see it in the chat, I know myself, should not be taking these trades. When I write down on the sticky note, thank you, Fabian, on the sticky note, some ideas, the minute that we violate those ideas, needs to be gone. And I'm learning that every single day, and I appreciate all your patience. All right, on to the next. This is very, very special, man. We always try to give you guys cutting edge ideas, different companies, and we're gonna do that right now. It's your guest today, and it's with Brendan.
Yeah, thanks. Let's get a look at the actual solar sector today. It has been a challenging couple of years, not only going back to 2023, but 2022 for the overall solar sector. Single Point is a recent listing on CBOE US. SING is the ticker. You can check that out if you're on the P-Pro 8 system. It's going to be routed through the NYSE ARC exchange. So SING.AM. That is Will Ralston, the CEO of Single Point. Great to see you, Will. Thanks for doing this.
Well, hey, thanks for having us on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it's as I mentioned, it's been a challenging couple of years, we'll say, for the solar sector as a whole. If you go all the way back to 2020, it was a monster and just so successful right across the board. From a higher level here, let's start just as a look at the overall sector. What do you attribute to this environment and why it's been a bit of a challenge for this group?
Yeah, so even going back to 2020, we've had these, the pandemic, unfortunately, that locked down a lot of different businesses, and we have to be there in person installing, these panels and interacting with people on site. So you saw a little dip there, but then it came back roaring, and people were staying home. They were using more electricity. These different things were happening. And then we ran into supply chain issues at the beginning of this year. So between supply chain and then the high interest rate environment, there's definitely been a damper on the industry overall as a whole. But the one thing that I'm really excited about, there's actually multiple things, but the one thing for us is, we went from 24 million in 2022. I expect to see that over 30 million this year and continue to grow. So while the industry as a whole has been down, we've actually seen growth at our core company, Boston Solar, who's just done a great job of continuing to grow the business and hit those top line revenue goals that we've set for them.
Yeah, so the company itself focusing on solar, EV charging, and energy storage specifically. What do we need to know here, Will, about the company itself? Break it down for us.
So Single Point is, we're acquisition strategy. We're looking for the number one, number two, number three providers in each market, because here, solar is extremely fragmented. The rules are different in every area. And really what we've found is you need that local presence, but you'd like to have the back end and backbone of a large purchasing power, consolidating financial, accounting, HR, everything like that. So you're really saving money in order to drop down more bottom line profitability. And being that we're looking for the number one, number two in the industries, we are in the local markets, we're able to make the right partnerships. So Boston Solar, proud partner of the Boston Red Sox. We actually also just launched Energizer Solar. We're the first U.S. company that's going to be offering Energizer Solar battery storage systems. So these are the types of things that we're looking to do. We want great brand recognition, great customer service. Overall, it's about the people we interact with, the people we serve, and driving profitability down to the bottom line for the business.
Talk about the opportunity here, maybe as far as the addressable market is concerned. I mean, there's a lot of individual areas being covered by the company itself. What do you see as the addressable market going forward into not only 2024 but further out?
So in the U.S., we're only about 4% of coverage right now on the residential solar side. So massive opportunity to continue to grow that. We're looking at being one of the first to cover the entire United States in terms of what we're able to install and do. And if we get to those places where, like Australia, they're over 25% penetration. So a lot of growth here for the U.S. alone. But with the deal that we've just struck, I believe we're going to be able to start looking at global opportunities as well for the business, maybe more towards the tail end of 2024. But right now, we got a lot of work to do right here, and there's plenty of opportunity for us to keep growing right here at home.
On the technology side of things, I'll put you on the spot here a little bit. On the technology side of things, specifically maybe EV related, it seems like the sky's the limit when it comes to the charging and the need for infrastructure. Specifically, in Canada alone, we're still far behind when it comes to the infrastructure, charging infrastructure for EVs. What can you tell us about possible opportunities there?
So I think bi-directional charging is going to be a massive opportunity. You've already got Ford with the Lightning. You can power your home if you have a power outage. You have all these different manufacturers such as Mercedes-Benz that says they're only going to do EV designed vehicles after 2025. So as the charging comes out with bi-directional, you're going to have massive batteries sitting right there in your garage to power your home, which is also going to help the grid, because when there's extra grid power that's needed, there's going to be a way for utilities to go ahead and pull from your car or your home storage battery. So that's part of our portfolio as well. We're installing these EV chargers, and I would love to see Single Point actually developing technology and owning IP for that as well, which would only add to our vertical integrated solution.
Yeah, still early days if in the EV space itself, obviously on the infrastructure side of things. If anybody wanted more information when it comes to anything the company has to offer, where would you send them?
So singlepoint.com, you're going to want to check that out. Sign up for our email list, because we do send out weekly industry emails as well as business, specifically about Single Point. But also follow us on X at _SinglePoint_. We'd love to communicate with all the investors out there, as well as any business opportunities that may be available.
Just listed, guys, CBOE US exchange on December 15th. Well, what was the date?
We are the very first U.S. company listed on the CBOE BZX exchange, December 15th. Extremely excited. CBOE is a phenomenal exchange, and excited to see how that grows with us.
Congratulations. Exciting times, early days, as we said. Will Ralston, CEO of Single Point, thanks for doing this.
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you very much, Will. That's what we love about this, right? And you get a great interview on a sector that I think we're all pretty interested in. We were talking a little bit about solar amongst ourselves, and then aftermarket, you're going to get a little bit extra. It won't always just be trading. You get the podcast as well, which I think will be fantastic tonight. But the market is doing what the market did all week. It's coming back to the downside. I said, when we came out of this, I was thankful I was able to get the last out for a win on Micron, but it's everything else to the short side. We just got an Apple that's flushing. Rivian's about to break 19 if it hasn't done so. It's in a couple of seconds going to break 19. The shorts in this particular case are coming right in. The market is not necessarily red yet. Or it is. Well, the NASDAQ is red by 0.07. It's not a done deal. We're going to close red, but the market is red. So we just got into Apple. What I love about this is someone said straightforward trading. What I hope a lot of people can glean from this is find straightforward trades if you can. Sometimes they're there, and other times you have to be patient for them. So this was one where its stock had news. We kind of talked about why. We had our key level. Come to the chart for a second. We had our key level. It gave us a pretty clean entry off that level. There's your rejection. There's your entry. And now it just comes into the downside. And then your job is to try to hold down into the bottom. So again, I like Apple. I like Apple at 180, but there was a short that set up. So you just got to take it and then make the next available trade, regardless of what your bias might tell you. It has to get to 180 anyways before you can even think about a long, at least before I could even think about a long.
All right. Yeah, you talked about straightforward trades. I mean, this is literally why everybody looking for some straightforward trades. I give the price levels that I'm going to be trading off of and why I like them. So join us every single day at 8:30, and I'll describe every single thing on here like we do daily, like we've been doing for 4 years. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit all of that, and we'll just keep coming back and back and back for you every single damn day. We hit Apple crazy early on. It just sucks to not have the short anymore, but it broke through VWAP. I could have just held that. In hindsight, whatever, can't predict everything. But what we can do is tell you guys that the 183 was a golden short, and now it's created many opportunities. And like I said, man, this is why we're in this mood. We're in a great mood, and we're just chilling out right now and just watching it. We're already you know, our net is fine. Like we don't. If I find any more opportunities, fine. But I don't need to today. Look, it's not good to look at your net and trade off of that. It's just like the market's down here right now. I don't want to get any longs, and I want to try to hold some of these shorts. And right now, it's just I don't want to force and push a trade. So I'm going to still looking. So let's go. AMD. I always want to look for names that are going to move. We know that AMD has a chance of moving. So let's just analyze some of these trades in case the market actually goes up. We're $1.70 in the money on Tesla that we gave to you. Oh, what I want to talk about was this Affirm trade. We just tweeted it out. Shout out to my friend Brian Shannon at Alpha Trends, a great friend. You know, we just finally got VWAP. We waited. You want to talk about patience? This is all damn day here, guys. Like this level, 43.90, boom, all the way to the downside right there, finally taking that dollar club right now on Affirm, and it finally breaks through VWAP. So we were really, really patient, and we actually held on to 20%. So we're out at 10 now, we just got more. So let's go back into the downside on that one. Palantir has been a little bit of a but the thing about it is still a money-making opportunity for us here today, and we did exactly that. So Palantir, put that in your pocket, and let's go. The other name was DraftKings. I kind of wanted to look at that again. We got out of DraftKings a couple weeks ago when we were sort of trimming some of the positions, like Snapchat, like DraftKings, Coinbase. We got all out of. We got all out of HUD 8 right now. Will the NASDAQ close red today? I want to hear Neil's opinion first, then I'll give mine. Because I'm already...
It's not a surprise.
Okay, so you're going to say red.
Well, I mean, our votes should be obvious at this particular point. Like, there's sometimes it'll be, like, interesting, like, what I might think, but obviously red, just put on short. And I even just said on Micron that long was about to come out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my vote is for red. It's also... what's the interesting stat?
I'm about to push green.
This is a lazy thing, but one of the easiest ways to predict like what direction will the market go is what did it do? What did it do yesterday? It's like the weather. Like, will it rain? It's like, okay, well, most days it won't. So you just simply say, okay, it's not going to.
Right.
Simply like it's red right now, and we were red all week. It's an easy vote. But I'm 3 shorts, and the last thing I just did was cover a long and enter a short. So it's hard to say anything about that.
$2 right there. We need a new graphic, man. Oh, man. Okay, there it is. We're going to take a little bit off of Tesla right there. I mean, the way this thing is moving. Oh, man, this is good. This is real good.
Well, now it's obvious.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll probably have to say red, but whatever. Okay, so... what else do you want to talk about? I mean, all right, is there any other stocks? Oh, I got out of Peloton there. Like I said, man, Peloton will be my 4th biggest name today. It's such a good day. We just got out of Peloton there. I mean, it went from here to there, and we got out at that 200 period moving average. I still like the long, and I probably would have held it. Honestly, I would have held this long. It's just the market broke low, and when we break low, then there is nowhere to go.
SOS just broke.
SOS?
No.
I don't even know what that
MSOS.
is. Oh, MSOS. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so we'll look at that. I mean, the marijuana ETF moving around. You know what? Let's have a quick look at Tilray, because I feel like, you know, as we get into election year and everything like that, I mean, we're here now, obviously, in the fourth day of the year. I talked about this yesterday and things like that, and throwing some shade at some of the representatives there in the United States because of their lack of concern for, you know, basically what they've said they would try to look at it is marijuana and possibly legalizing it federally. That doesn't seem to have been happening. So we'll wait to see if there's some rhetoric about that coming through. And if there is, I mean, I don't think it's just like Peloton, yeah. Too many P's today, Peloton, PayPal, and Palantir. You know, once you got to break through levels, right? I mean, trading in here, sure, it's above the 50 or the 50 and the 200. The 200's green. Just like why Peloton was such an easy long today, breaking through levels, I feel like this could be the same thing. It's got to get through right around here, 270 or so. I mean, even those wicks higher, that's 280. So this is the call. I think if we can get to 280, then I do think that we see this 320, 340. So hopefully we'll be coming in on Monday or Tuesday, and we'll be able to see where we can go from here on this trade. Why is Obi here on Monday? Brendan's not here?
No, Sharif.
Oh, Sharif's not here. Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
He's filling in for Sharif. Where's that guy going? Oh my God.
It's his Christmas, like Orthodox.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, I should have said that. I didn't realize that. Okay, I should have said that to him. Okay, I'll send him a message. Anyways, it's this $280, $3 break there where I think we'd have to wait for. on Tilray. And then the other name, of course, is CGC coming through right here. Let's go CGC.
I almost feel like that one because of the short flow.
Well, the thing about this was it was reverse split. So unfortunately, our charts are going to be a little bit crappy for that. But this 440, like, again, it's just like once it breaks right there, then it's see you later. I mean, we were basically at $4. We went 10 to 1, I believe it was, all the way back up. So that makes sense. So that's, 48 cents up to 480, 10 to 1. So once you break this 430 area, you're down to 40 cents again, and then you just continue to break. So right there is 47 cents. So you're pretty close to breaking this bottom right now as we speak. So yeah, I would think these are all shorts. Looks like it was a decent out for us on Tesla. We'll see if that continues to hold. Affirm still continuing to go down. Yeah, this is pretty good. So we'll wait. Some people asking about MU. I'm not looking at it. I know you were mentioning.
Well, I didn't reverse in it. I told you guys I was going to get out of it. And okay, fine. It bounced off 83. If I hold on to it, I'd be back at like in the money a cent or two. But if 83 is the level, and look at what happened off that 83. It looked like it wanted to go, got about to the 30s and 40s, pull back in, was able to get a few scalp trades like 10 cents, then 20 cents. And now it's just going sideways in a 20-cent range. So that last pop, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to take it out there in front of what was resistance. And if it's not going to show me some moves, then I'm just going to back off. Like if it broke down, maybe you could look at VWAP. If it breaks the high, then okay, great. Then I can see a late day rally. It's 3 o'clock. That's the time where you could get it. But it's not rocket science to say, okay, well, Apple has news. What do I want to do next? Reload Micron, which still could give you something off the 83, or maybe go over and look at an Apple. That's why I was just looking at MSOS. It's not that, like, I don't know, but what's breaking the highs right now? MSOS, something shows up on a scanner, or you guys throw it out in the chat, and whether I find a trade or not, this is running through the highs. Now the volume isn't great, but on the daily chart it looks pretty good, above 770. So I kind of like this. If it pulls back and can show any bounce off the 770, 775 area, that's not a bad look. I would much prefer, as Sean was just showing CGC, I just like trading the longs if CGC is moving because it has a big short float. So I like the equity. It's not doing anything. Like to be flat, well, you're not going up when you're supposed to be a short squeeze type name. That's pretty useless as far as I'm concerned. And as Sean showed that chart, it's a short till it's not on CGC. And you need to be really convinced that it's not. I was talking about 19 on Rivian. Rivian just bounced off 19.
What?
The chart still hasn't loaded. It'll
That
load.
might be something I can get involved with.
It just bounced off a 19 pretty clean. So if it gets through 10s, I think I'm going to trail this out. At 3 o'clock on a Friday, if an even dollar level like Rivian 19 holds when the stock started the week at sort of falling over itself at $23, so you just fell $4 into an even dollar. If it bounces off of that, like you could easily make a relief rally. So I'm trailing it. I'm holding for 19 break, but I'm going to trail this to 10s, meaning I'm just going to get out if it breaks back above 19.10. But those even dollar levels, especially on a Friday, when you've had such a big move, I think you want to have some respect for them. Rivian not exactly having a fantastic day. It has been one of these for Rivian for a hot minute. But, and there's always a but.
Look at Affirm.
You've got this nice 50 and 200 period. Like I think there's going to be maybe a bounce long in here somewhere that I'll take a shot at. Whether it works or not, hey, that's trading. But I'm not going to look at this is exactly where it bounced last time out to 50 and 200. It comes back in there again. That's usually worth a swing. Now you take that 10 times out of 10 and you just look to be right 7 or 8 times, then you're good to go.
Man, this computer, like I'm writing notes in here and it's just like chugging along in the chat. Game over, I just put in there. Look, guys, I appreciate everything. I appreciate all the talk. I appreciate everything. Like Affirm is starting to go to the downside now and absolutely clubbing it. So I said in this afternoon, because of where we are and how the trading's been today, I will choose peace instead of violence and probably stay out of this market because I just, let's watch it. I think I'll short that 180 if Apple breaks. I did want to go over to Affirm as well. Rivian, I was just on Affirm. The reason why, Neil said 19 and I kind of was like, ooh, $19. I mean, this POS has just been getting crushed over the last little while. I like it. I want to buy it. It's like Palantir, man. I mean, I'll call Palantir POS over the last month as well. I mean, since the last...
Well, Palantir actually, they make money.
Yeah, Rivian...
A little difference, though.
Okay, but no, but I'm not trying to insult the company. I mean, I'm just saying it's like the way it's performing is straight to the downside, and like it kind of reminds me. This is another name that I kind of want to get long, and it's just I'm not in it, and it's like Palantir. I think it's falling into areas that we can soon buy. So I mean, I said that I've been sitting on cash. You guys know that. We've been talking about that. I just wonder at what point you're going to miss it. Like I haven't sat here. I bought Pfizer 26.50. I didn't get the bottom. I bought Oracle at 103. That's probably through 100. I haven't even looked at that. That was like early November. I haven't done anything else since, man. We sold. I talked about some of the names we sold. So the thing is like right now, I'd hate for it to come into here, and then a couple weeks later, we're talking on the market recap show, and we're saying, oh man, look how good this level was. It bounced off the 50 period. But it's like, sometimes you gotta step up and take trades. So Rivian is something for next week. We'll look at it. If it continues to get down, I would love to get long at 18 right there. I feel like if you're gonna take something at the top of this range, I'll buy, okay, for example, if I'm trying to buy 100 shares of Rivian, let's just say that's the level because it's easy math, I would put on 50 here at 18 and then probably 50 more down here, like wait for it to fall into the middle or near the bottom of this range, then I have my 100 shares. And then once I really get desperate, I'll put on another 100 and then we'll see what happens down near the bottom. But I just don't think it's worth time yet to try to capture any of these bottoms. And then, last week on the show, I said that I really liked Palantir heading in here to the new year. 4 straight quarters of EBITDA profitability. The 5th one, we know what happens with that. That's when you get props to Alex Karp and everybody else, because then you get into the S&P 500. They still got to choose you. There's things like that. But just like Pikachu does, I choose you, Palantir. And I think that one will get into the S&P 500. Oh, the other name that I sold actually was perfectly right here, $62, Uber. And again, we talked about why we sold Uber up there 10% higher than where it is right now. It's because, and we didn't get the top, we got into here as soon as this was the S&P rebalance. I don't know, it was the 3rd Friday, right? So it was like, I think it was in here, December 18th or something like that. So I don't know exactly. But anyways, I should probably just look for volume on the daily chart. I don't have it up. But anyways, look at that. It made a bump up. It actually goes back into it December 29th, makes all-time highs on Uber, or maybe not all-time highs, makes yearly highs on Uber, 52-week highs at $63. Then it started to fade back out. So the minute that started happening is where we start to get out, because the move up, I feel like anyways, a lot of that fuel was sparked by the addition into the S&P 500. There's a lot of fund managers have to chase, because if they were not long Uber in the beginning, what are they going to do? They have to add it once it gets added, right? So if their weighting is 0 and then the S&P goes in and all of a sudden it's, I guess, 0.2%, 500 companies equally weighted, right? So into 100%. So the thing is that now they've got to add Uber. So if you already have it in your portfolio, 2.2%, then you're fine. But if you're not, then you have to add it in order to market as same as the S&P 500.
And when you look at that daily chart, which people were clearly doing once they knew this was coming.
Yeah.
Right. And just a point, was one kind of hidden point that you made in there about volume. Yeah. If you're ever looking at a chart, and this is just actually good enough, you're like, oh my goodness, when did this company report earnings? Or like Snap News happens and you're trying to find out when was the last significant price area on a stock. The daily chart and volume spikes can be very informative, because I don't have to look at a calendar. None of us have to look at a calendar to know when Uber was added. If you just look at, this is volume down here, and if you can't tell which day, like which day in here, looking at the candlesticks, was Uber added to the S&P 500. You can't tell looking at that, but if you can't tell looking at the volume, this is a ridiculous example, an extreme one, but the earnings will give you the same thing. Or like big Snap News, like Peloton's the first thing that comes to mind, like Peloton today. Like, Peloton is going to have a big volume day. So when we're looking at Peloton a month from now, we're not going to have to guess when the Volkswagen news was, or where the key prices that actually did big volume. We're going to know. I keep volume on pretty much all of my charts. Hey, there's a volume spike obviously on Apple because of news. I'm out of Apple now though. It just made a wick bottom off of the lows. Ooh, I just got trailed out of Rivian too. Okay, so Apple made a wick bottom off of those lows. This is where it bounced at 8:30 when we had the NFP number, and it made a bounce there. So I just jumped out of it. We'll see what it looks like at that 180 level. But it was a decent kind of like retracement short. On flash news, I like support turning into resistance on the way back in. Let it calm down and get into that level. Get in, get out. Bob's your uncle. Ooh, still hasn't loaded up. Rivian, that 19, 22, it bounced off 19. I said I'd trail it if it got back into 10s. A little stronger than I was thinking off that 19. I actually thought it might hang out there for a little bit, maybe even test out underneath, just given how heavy it's been. But Rivian making a bit of a bounce here. So I'm just in Fisker at this point, cashed out. Usually in the afternoons, I'm looking for get in, get out, find the next trade. Went from Micron to Apple. Was in Rivian, was the first thing that I did when I came on at 2 o'clock. And sort of just find like what is the next trade going to be. I thought maybe MSOS would be something. You guys let us know if you see something that's going. It's always a great community making sure we don't miss out. I keep looking up at my trade ideas scanners, and I haven't really seen anything that popped off right now. I don't actually recognize some of the small caps that are up there. But you guys let us know if you see anything. And as for Fisker, it's not to say that when I say things like, oh, Fisker, it's not doing much. I'm short Fisker at 34 when there was size at 35 and a level at 36. It's at 32 right now. I have bids at 31 and 30. If Fisker for some reason drops like 10 cents, I'll let you guys know about it. But it bounced off 130. I shorted it into 135. And I'm taking it back down into 130. It's not exactly a sexy trade, but Fisker, they had good news a couple of days ago, and the market decided they don't want to buy it. So the other thing had to happen for this. I cannot wait for Fisker to be at $1. It's over 40% short, and it's headed for $1. That is going to be a wild one when they have to defend this stock at $1. Like a lot of other names, this has been badly beaten up. I mean, Rivian doesn't look so bad in this context.
I like Rivian there. I'm still looking at Uber. It's a good thing. A good thing or not. Again, now we have that 10% left on Tesla. We talked about all of this, and it's just like we're just going to sit here and wait to see if it continues to go down. Like I was pretty happy getting some out at 237. 236.50. It's funny because, I'm definitely not the sharpest knife in the drawer. It's not even close. But for trading, you actually don't need to be that smart. You just got to have a plan, okay? It's just like right there. It came right back into 236.50. That could have been an out, or here could be an out. I'm just literally a support and resistance kind of guy, and I've added a couple lines to this. You know what I mean? So it's just like these are just things that you put in there, and you hope to be right and have risk management. And I was saying this to the dentist the other day, and it was just like the funny part about it is like. I don't know, I'm going to stay with the same dentist, but it's like, it's right around the corner from here. So the guy recognized me. I was like, a little bit awkward. But anyways, then he started talking about trading, and it was just kind of like, first of all, A, give me a discount, B, the second thing was, there was no discount, by the way. He actually gave me, he was like, you need to do this, this, and this. So
he was upselling you.
Yeah, he started upselling me at that point. That was a mistake by me. Anyways, yeah.
You got to go in like
I got to go the other way around. Yeah. But I still told him I had no money, so it doesn't matter. But anyways, insurance. So right there, 236.70. I'm just saying that, like, if you want to play this game, I just feel like we might have just bounced on some of these levels, right? The market did go down on that Apple news. I wasn't even sure what it was there. Although we did bring it. Some sort of a class action. So there it is. U.S. moves closer to filing. Sweeping moves closer. Okay. Whenever I hear stuff like that, honestly, I say, another one. They're just trying to bring the stock down. And it's going to work. Another one. All these bad reports coming out for Apple, it's kind of like, okay, antitrust case against the biggest and the baddest. Good. That's good. You do that, U.S. government. Probably the largest employer, it's going to be Amazon, I would think. But, you're going to come at Apple. That's Walmart. That's great, U.S. You just come at an American-built company that's like, paving the way. All right. Anyways, that's fine. I'm not buying any. I've said that I'm not buying any dips, but this on Apple at some points, and I've converted all of my I'm just waiting. I'm completely fine. All my long-term stuff is completely chill, and I actually never want the market to go down. But some of these prices are getting pretty attractive right now. I just think that we wait for the next quarter. Like when does they're all coming. Me and Brendan were talking about this earlier because the market recap show, by the way, thank you so much for the continued support of the market recap show. It'll be back on Monday. Tonight is podcast. But we've been looking at it. We were talking. It's next Friday. It's next Friday. They all start, man. It's all the banks. It's J.P. Morgan. It's Wells Fargo. They're all coming next Friday in the morning. Apple. Where's Apple? Feb 1. So like, you know, you're 4 weeks away from basically where we're starting to talk every single day, and we'll be able to see, does the emperor have clothes? I mean, that's just what we're going to find out. And if they do, then you're going to see Apple just rip back up. But the thing is, Apple last year, and I'm giving away some podcast content. Am I allowed to do this, Brendo? Why not? Look, Apple missed on 3 of 4 quarters last year. Missed, okay? Still up 50% on the year on misses. All right, so
and declining revenues.
Yeah, exactly, and declining revenues, and wearable issues, and then now you have obviously the issues with the banning, and this and that, and now this BS antitrust. I don't even know what it is. I'm calling it BS antitrust case. You know, whatever. Apple's going to get hit. Stocks are going to get hit. Okay, you have to take profit when you see it. I've already, and again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. We talked about if you were nervous about Apple. There's come over to my chart quickly, Ramin, if you get a second, just quickly. If you were worried at all about Apple, the trade was very, very simple, and we talked about it over and over. We talked about it on AMD. I did it on Nvidia, and that is we bumped up to very, very key levels. This is the 3 trillion mark, baby. Came up to $200 and failed. It failed here. Like, for us to say, I'm surprised Apple's doing this, well, it did it right here, and it's almost picture perfect. It's almost the same. Straight to the downside with very few green days in here, you know, all the way to the downside until it finally found a base. But this time, look at this, up, down. It triple bottomed, and then it ripped back up to the upside. So 1, 2, 3 lower lows, you know. So we still got to start making some lows, man. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we bounce off here. Maybe we even get back to 188. But then I feel like we could start to bounce around. And honestly, this is probably way too conservative. But like, I don't really want to buy this until 172, 175, like, which probably is Monday, by the way. So I feel like down into here, I will start to nibble on Apple. Word is bond on that one. I will be buying some Apple down into 175.
There's someone in the chat, because when you're at a 200-period moving average, and this has come up a couple of times there, and I know I've said that I like to buy companies, or like if I'm looking to buy a company, that's a dip that I like. But I think dip buying is different for everybody, and dip buying on per stock is going to be different. Like the example was just made on Rivian. I've said I like the 50 and the 200 here. And if I was swing trading, look, I bought Rivian when it did this the first time. So I think I mentioned that a few times. And if were it a swing trade, would I have covered it? Sure. It's a bit of a shot play for me, right? Like it's the kind of, if Rivian goes to 0, I'm not crying about it. Like I'll be more pissed off at Mobileye than if Rivian goes to 0, just to give you some context. But I would not just sit on a bid in front of a moving average on a stock like Rivian and be like, yeah, that's where I'm going to buy the dip on my long-term account. But were I buying Apple, then I would just sit there. I'd probably already be filled. But the only reason, I'm not, I love Apple, I'm not buying them on this dip, is I built my long-term account, built a core position in the SPY. Last year, I built a core position starting last year in the Qs, which I was only ever owning the SPY as my I own the market kind of thing. So I was buying the Qs all year long and had a position in Apple alone. So I'm not really looking for spots to add to it because I think I have enough. But that's the kind of stock where if you like it, if you really like it, it's a stable company. I think it's a little more comfortable just sort of buying the dip. Like an example of that, I mean, Amazon, if Amazon gets to its 200-period moving average, like, come on, like, I'll stink bid this all day in the 130s. No, like, that's just, I'm not going to put it in now because Amazon's not getting there next week. But
what?
Amazon's not getting here. I mean, it's going to have to drop $15, $16. It's very unlikely. I shouldn't say never. I think it's unlikely that it makes that kind of a drop. But this is an example of a stock that I'm looking to pick up a little more. That's one I'm comfortable buying this year. So I would have a bid out in front of the 200-period moving average. And if it runs through, it's not like I'm panic selling it. I'm holding it for the long run. But Rivian's not that kind of a stock. If I'm in Rivian, I want to see something strong about it before I take the trade. Just Curtis in the chat just saying Snap is making some moves here.
Hopefully down.
I was actually interested. AMC was moving a bit and then it kind of slowed down. But Snapchat, that was a daily.
Snapchat's still so damn strong.
Yeah. So I mean, it's up today. I thought maybe it was making a move right now. That's all. When I saw that in the chat, but still up 1.8%. That's not bad.
Snapchat was one of those names that I sold off. I mean, we sold it north of 17, but the thing is like
That's a great sell.
That's a great sell, but I'm surprised how strong it is. That's all. I thought like when thought it would have got clubbed.
17 today? No, that's a bad wick on my daily chart.
No, well, it got to 16. Hold on.
Oh, that's why.
Got to 1670.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. But the highest was still close, man. 1670. That's not far away. But anyways, yeah, that's a bad wick. So okay. This is another name that I bought it, honestly, and it's kind of like I kind of got lucky because we bought it at 1080 or 1050, and we bought it like on this move back up here, thinking that we were going to, it must have been right here. No, it wasn't on this break. It was down into here. So it was down here. So we bought it down here 1050 on this bad report. And then when we saw it start to go back up to the upside, I said, hey, what if someone buys these guys out? Like it's so low. That never happened. And then we went all the way back down to 850. So I actually held a 1050 long down to 850, which might have been problematic, but it wasn't. And then we wound up getting out at 17, and we still have a piece of it. So I was just surprised at where this name is right now. That is Snapchat. All right. A name that we haven't really looked at much today, I don't believe, is going to be Alibaba. This is a name that, again, what's up to Reliable Rudy and everybody there in the chat? I really like FXI. I like to look at FXI. I would prefer to own Alibaba. I think you're going to get better returns if China figures itself out in a stock than in the FXI, which is the big China ETF. But Alibaba, again, remember when I said to you guys, like, we'll always look back, and it's so easy to data mine and to look back at charts and say, well, look, man, we didn't hit the 50 period there, hit the 50 period here, and hit the 50 period here. We should have either sold any longs that we had or gotten short. Well, easier said than done on Alibaba, I feel like. This is going to be a problem at 70. Now, I actually think that because it's been so poor, and I wish I knew how to overlay, the S&P 500 has really outperformed anything in China, needless to say, let alone the NASDAQ. FXI is the ETF that I would overlay with something, Qs, whatever. I feel like there's going to be some relatively good performance here. I'll show you the FXI if you guys are wondering about that. It doesn't. I don't need to overlay anything. It'll be obvious once you see it.
Yeah,
this is down pretty dramatically here for the year, right? So you're going to see this anyways coming through. FXI is large cap China. So it's an ETF. So here it is from January. $33 all the way down to 23. So it's chopped 50%. Basically, right? $33, take half of 33. No, sorry, 33%, 33, yeah. All the way down $10 off of $33. So it's down a third, while the rest of everything in the world is up like at least 25% this year, right? So I just wonder, Neil, if there's going to be an opportunity that...
You know what I'm scared of?
Well, I think that's the problem.
There's a big IPO that this Shein company.
Shein, yeah.
They're like one of those. I don't know. It's not a discount clothes retailer. I think they actually have some higher end stuff. I don't know too much about it, but it's a pretty hyped up IPO coming out of China. So I would hesitate to want to buy Chinese internet retail, like a Bob or a Pinduoduo. I just feel like the timing of that could get nasty if you make a temporary top when you have a big IPO in the same sector. A lot of times you're doing that because you've been canceling IPOs left, right, and center. When you're doing that, a lot of times it can signal a bit of a top, and it's tricky to want to buy it. Everybody wants to try to pick, because at some point, like Sean said, at some point these are going to be great longs. Man, come on, look at all of the metrics on, if you're a value investor, look at them on Amazon, or not Amazon, on Alibaba, and compare them to like an Amazon, and you'll be impressed. There was a question, and Mr. Mems, like I'm not going to sit here and say Shein is a terrible company. I'm just simply saying like the hype around it. I'm not necessarily one that's going to believe in it, but if it gets a ridiculous amount of hype, and regardless of what you think about the quality, and it comes out stupid high, sometimes you get a little bit of a top in that sector and that related group. There was a question in the chat just now, what do I think about Eli Lilly? It's a rocket ship. That's my first thought about Eli Lilly on the daily chart. But I'm going to assume you're a little bit concerned about this triple top that it has on the daily. If you're concerned about a stock reversing off of its highs when it's doing this, I don't know, like usually that means you've bought the top, because if you bought it at most of the consolidations it has, it still looks pretty healthy. You just got the direct-to-consumer news, which it's holding up pretty well today. There was a bit of a dip by. So it looks like it might be doing a pullback off a recent top and looking for another consolidation level, which I guess it hasn't found yet. But I like this company. There's a certain chance that when they start figuring out how addressable the market is for these weight loss drugs, and maybe how much is going to get covered and how long people are going to be on them, maybe there's a little bit too much hype. But I think right now, everybody wants to be in them. I'm talking about, obviously, them and Novo Nordisk. So the hype is there. I've trimmed 30% of mine on the way up. Pretty much each of these times that we've wicked the 600, I've taken 10% out of Lilly. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm now a little bit more comfortable with what I'm holding in it now. So I think it's just finding itself a top. Where it happens to dip down to, I wouldn't be necessarily concerned on a daily trend until it got back. It would have to pull back like $30, $40. I mean, that thing's been a rocket ship. Nick Dubs. It looks like it's curling, but I'm concerned it will retrace 600 first. I guess, yeah, it just depends on where you're long. You know, it's easy to say if you're in the money, I'm not concerned about it pulling back. But if you took a recent swing on it, breaking 600, yeah, if I was long 600 right here as a swing trade, I'd have a little bit of concern about that rejection because it's already rejected it twice. I probably wouldn't be in love with it, the price action today. I want to get back to Apple because it just bounced again. Why couldn't it just go to 180? We talked about trades being straightforward. Sometimes the really straightforward trade you want doesn't necessarily set up, which would be Apple getting down underneath 180. Get a tens at least to take a bounce trade. Like I don't want to take a long too far out in front of 180, given the way the market is trading this afternoon. I feel like I want to be pretty tight with the risk that I have on any long trade, and it's not giving me a bounce to go back into the short either. So it's a little bit frustrating on Apple's part. The other thing I'm looking at right now is AMD. If this can make it's underneath VWAP, first thing. I've only gone short at the 140 level, took it out of VWAP. I don't think it's getting back to VWAP unless something happens crazy late, but this 138.50 looks pretty good if there's a little bit of a late pop. So I might look for something in AMD, which has been trending a bit down since making a top, literally right when we came off and went to the midday. Oddly enough, AMD made its random high there at 11. I think that had something to do with Nvidia's move. I think back to it.
Yeah, I'm surprised by 500 again. I'm surprised by
Nvidia is super strong today.
I'm going short just quickly.
Well, it was anyways.
PayPal's just under $60. I don't want to take that. Tesla's right now is still moving. It's $2 in the money. It's making the move down. Like I was saying, man, Apple's going to be, well, actually, that's hilarious. Apple and Tesla are within pennies of each other for me today. And we've left Apple alone during this move, but I'm not leaving it alone on this break. We break through 180, I'm going short Apple. It doesn't matter about the time of day for me. It could be at, well, if it's at 358, I probably won't be at my desk. But if this is any time before 350, and I'm talking about like 345, 347, 348 will probably be my cutoff, like 348. And the reason for that is that in just a couple minutes, we're going to get this imbalanced look and what this total is. Now, we only see on here New York names. Come on, Apple, here we go. We only see New York names on here, but at 350, they'll all populate with NASDAQ names. And look what this market's doing. We told you, oh yeah, we knocked over those bears because of the donuts. But this is why we're holding on to the short, man. We're still short Palantir. We're still short Tesla, which is really coming through. Remember I told you guys, everybody could trade their own ways and all that kind of stuff. Right now, sure, it's $2.40 in the money. But if you like this spot for Tesla, we've bounced off here now basically 4 times. Once right here, once right here, once right here, and this is the 4th time. So if you think this is good, then good. But I don't. I'm going to wait. Let's see. The market's not even bleeding now. Like this is just like it has a headache. Like it's down 0.17. Like this is nothing. So let's see if we can get really accelerated here. Let's see if we can give Obi those heart palpitations again here on the way back in. So we'll see if that does come through at some point here. But if the market continues, then we'll do that. I'm just going to cancel. Like honestly, my stop here for Tesla, I told you what it was. It was 50 cents. So we're doing pretty good on this one for sure. Actually, it might have been even less than that. All right, that's that trade. I'm just looking at my stop orders. We already have the one for Apple. I think the one for Apple is going to be the key. We might as well just watch this together, honestly. This is coming in right now. Now, let's just talk about this trade because this is, I sort of got sidetracked about the dentist there. I told him risk manage is the number one thing, you know, because we were talking about cavity prevention and stuff like that. And I just brought it back into his world.
Nice.
And it was just like, yeah, it's like, you know, that's part of why you brush your teeth and stuff like that is because you know that if you don't do that, there could be some damage way later on. And I was like, that's exactly the kind of way that I look at trading is that you can make all the calls in the world. You can eat all the sugar in the world, but you got to brush your teeth. So the thing about this trade is...
Hold off on the sugar.
Yeah, hold off on the sugar for other reasons unless you have Ozempic or something. But look at this move to the downside right here. I'm just saying that where's the out, right? So I don't know. I was probably just going to use the 50-period moving average because it's really, since this news, we broke VWAP. I mean, how easy was that trade? Unfortunately, we were in Tesla. I mean, look, we made a lot of money in Tesla. It's fine. But this move right here broke VWAP, broke the 50, broke the 200, all at the same damn time. But you had to be quick to be on that move.
News, right?
You had to be quick, yeah. So that trade, if you took the 182 short, great. But let's just hit the 180 short and let's just respect that. So right now, I'm doing the math in my head. We've already talked about the kind of day that we're having, many multiples, you know, so it's great. The thing is, though, is like how much do we want to give back? So I've already done the work. I'm taking enough shares that I won't be upset. Remember I said choose peace over violence? I will not be upset if it gets back 50 cents. So I'm thinking a break of 180. It's the easiest trade in the book besides all the other ones I had. If you break 180, watch out for an instant push back. I have to take the short because I want the short. But we've seen it so many times. We got burned, I think, on 500 break of Nvidia. I remember, I think it was maybe 300 break on Meta. I don't think was the greatest. Lots of different opportunities like that. So 180, I think everyone's going to be looking at it. We have a catalyst, we have a key price level, and Apple's really been woodshedded over the last couple of days. So it's like a perfect storm. It's 50 cents worth of risk, or wherever the 50-period moving average is when it does break. So I feel like irresponsible if I don't tell you guys that because that's going to be the next trade that I'm in. I'm holding Tesla till the close. Palantir, I might just get out of it because it's just making me upset looking at it. And then Affirm, we only have a small piece left, and it's looking like it may need to come out here as well. Let's put a bid on Affirm at 42.70. If it comes down, I mean, look at this, one trade. You guys, you'll find out why later we're going to be hashtagging real trading and stuff. It's just like, look, you only have one trade to make today. There's Affirm. I mean, I think the Apple shorts are better. I think the Tesla short is better. But, oh, you know a name that we didn't look at that I'm seeing is just moving a little bit right now is ARM. Just because it broke. Nah, it's not. Sorry. I thought it was. It's not doing anything. I'm just keep getting it because we're breaking some of these levels here, but it's not. It just broke 367. I thought it was a little better than this.
There's that. That's.
Oh no, 666 is the bottom.
That's what I'm actually thinking about. Like, well, I'm not thinking about. I want to buy a dip on this. It's just I'm looking to hold. Ideally, I want to hold out until they report maybe another quarter. But there's a chance it might. There's a chance I might want to just do it before that, right? So we'll see. I haven't made up my mind on it, but my intentions are to get a little bit more there.
Feb 7.
It's not that long to wait. It's just.
But the market's gonna dance before.
I know that's like there's a real chance like. And I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but I have an inkling that we could have a bit of a dip. The financials already start next week, right? So you could have a dip into that. Then you could already be making a turnaround in the middle to late of January. And if I didn't get something, I'm trying to build a position in ARM for the long term, right? So I know I want to buy in this quarter. I could just probably just sit on the 50 period, to be honest with you, and just throw it out there. That's the easy way to go. Putting them out, like maybe. If I don't want to add another like 30%, put like 15% or something a little bit smaller in front of the 50 period so that whatever happens, I get something and I'm not pissed off about it. There was Matt Winch says, why not look for solid trades? That's the idea. That is 100%. I'm only in one thing left because I covered taking profit on the last two. And I was just looking for like, what is the next trade going to be? At one point, we haven't even talked about these guys in about a million years, AMC. And at one point, there was a volume spike, so I got a bit of an alert there. I'm like, ooh, is AMC going to be the next solid trade? Does it break out here off 520 and then give a nice consolidation higher and show some strength? Obviously, you can see that it did not. So, okay, that kind of went out the window, but that's what I was looking for. I wanted to see the volume spike, I wanted to see a consolidation higher, maybe holding some of the volume, and then you could go for the long there, but the volume immediately dropped off, so nothing to see there. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, but without volume, who cares? Oleg saying Mobilize moving. That's one that we didn't trade today. Day 2 earnings play, 1.8% upside. They got, the daily chart, you guys know what happened to the stock yesterday. If you're watching, not bad. It's a slow climb to the upside, but the volume's not fantastic. It's a little tight to the top here. I don't see an obvious entry in Mobileye, but if I was looking at this in the midday, I could see all the reasons why you might have wanted a 29.50 long. But now that it's all the way up here, that's right in the middle of the range on Mobileye. And when I look at it on my 3-minute chart here, like the consolidation off of VWAP, which is actually, that's a trade I kind of like that one's already happened. You'd almost need it to pull back in and give you some 30s that are Mobileye. So I'm still looking for things out there. Apple doesn't even seem to want to get to 180, which what might happen is if the market's down on Monday, you could gap through this level. So it's frustrating as a day trader because you want to trade off these levels, regardless of the direction, man. Like, you just want to trade the level when you get a chance at it. I think there's a chance you could gap under by the time Monday comes in, but there's still 25 minutes to go. It is bouncing off of it. I know I like it up here at 181.25. I'm beginning to think that's going to be unlikely for a reload into the short. It might be better to try to catch Rivian on the way back into the upside as that's starting to come back up. It's still really not loading.
Oh, shit.
Don't trust VWAP on that one because it's missing some data. But it's right in here that I'm looking to catch Rivian at one in the teens. It's at 13 now. I'm looking for the high teens, like 19s. I'm looking to go short here, Rivian.
All right, well.
What?
No, it's just I made a mistake. Well, we're out. We'll end the day. It'll be a couple dollars away from Apple. But Tesla, we're out. I meant to put in 238, and I must have put in, I don't know if I put in 138. I don't even know what I put in, but it punched me out. I was going to stop out of this if we took down VWAP. You guys heard me talking about how we didn't necessarily want to get out of Tesla, but we did. We just got out of it. 237.08 was the exact price. So we just got out of it. I made a mistake. I know what the problem was. I thought I was on another stock, and I wasn't. Yeah, it's okay. Anyways,
the balance was 460 to buy. Sorry.
Okay, 460 to buy. Okay. Anyways, we're out of Tesla. I'm happy as hell with the trade. I just would have liked to have held it. And this is not a situation where I necessarily want to get back into. I mean, I could get back into it. What?
What's that line this one? Oh, this is not a big deal.
What
it's
line?
Like a random line. Can't you see that? The white line.
Oh yeah, this white line there that's moving
heck is
around. What the
that?
heck is that line?
Is that an indicator?
Indicator. What, this line? I don't know
can't
what the hell that is.
I can't unsee
Oh, it's
it.
the price. It's where the price is right now.
Oh, I gotta add that.
What? What do you mean added? I can barely even see it. What is that? That's not. What have I done?
The reason I'm kind of intrigued by it is like.
Oh no! Now it's going down.
But as it's coming to like the other wicks, like is your other indicators or whatnot.
No, it's good. I like it.
You can see it retrace back to like morning levels without actually having the crosshairs. I think that's.
No, I would like it. I didn't even know.
Well, I want to turn that on if you
value label.
What the hell that is.
Yeah, I'm going to display line. Anyways, we'll look at it after. I don't think.
That's cool.
Hold on a second. Let me just go back to another stock. We just got out. First of all, just got out of some Apple. So here on a second. All right. So let's see if it's here on Palantir. We just got out some Palantir. Sorry. Yeah, no, it's not. It's like a glitch. Yeah. See, it's not there for this. So okay. As my kids say, Dad, it's glitching. Right now, is it glitching? Okay. All right, that just means they need a faster computer. I get it. All right,
it's a feature, not a bug.
it's a feature. Yeah, exactly. It's a speed bump. All right, so there it is, man. We're out of that. I'm pretty happy. It's 340. Like I said, we were going to sort of slow down on everything into the close, but unfortunately, that ends that trade, which it's not going to be horrible, man. I mean, we were going to get out at 238, so if it actually ticks 238, then I just made myself $1 kind of by accident. So, all right, we'll take it, and I just don't want to get back into it, right? So that's that. The only trade that I can see myself getting into is now 50 cents away. We did say it, I know Neil mentioned it as well, taking that Apple long off 180, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that as long as your out is at 180.
179.99. Like
right, yeah, like, well.
Well, there's two types of trades.
It has to break.
Yeah, there's two types. There's some trades where if I saw a level, I would hit the bid at the one or at the even dollar and not wait for it to break. And that's almost always if a stock is cheap. Like if it's a $1 stock and there's like 10 million shares on the bid, sometimes I would rather just hit a piece of the bid instead of let it break. In Apple's case, once it triggers on a 99, I'm firing a stop order.
Me too.
But there are times that I'd rather hit the bid, and especially on a penny stock, because sometimes you don't want to, when everybody is taking size on a penny stock at 101, you don't always want to be that person that's trying to exit on the other side of the dollar. You just get extra slippage. If you see a 10 million share bid go down to like 8.5 and then it starts, I don't know, like sometimes you punch out and it goes up, but I'd rather just risk the 1 cent and actually only lose the 1 cent every now and then. Speaking of which, I told you I wouldn't say anything about Fisker unless I was getting the heck out or it moved. Well, it's not moving. I still have my bids down here. I'm not even letting this break. I had a stop at 35. I'm just going to move it down. It's like, as I said, it's not moving. I want to be looking short until this stock is at $1. And some days the consolidation short's going to have a big drop in the afternoon, and some days it's going to do nothing. But for now, let's get to the desk so Brendan can take care of some business.
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and zero commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
Beginning of the day.
There's something, Chesapeake here. Southwestern and Chesapeake are nearing a $17 billion merger. So CHK right now, deal could be finalized. Here we go. This update, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Benzinga Pro. Get your Benzinga Pro and get it now. We have a discount code. You can go get that. And Scan also, sponsored by IG. Right there on the screen, you can get that. Not for news, but you can go over there. Link in the description. It's Benzinga Pro. Trade with the pros. Okay, I hope I'm allowed that. All right, here we go. Energy, Chesapeake Energy, Southwest Energy, and Joy are close to a merger that would create roughly a $17 billion company. As one of the largest nat gas producers in the U.S., a deal could come together as soon as next week, according to people familiar with the situation, provided the talks don't hit a last-minute snag. Ooh. So, okay, so there we go, man. You don't want to hit any snags, but there it is from Benzinga Pro. Again, go over, support those guys. There it is right now. It's Chesapeake, man, and it's on one. It's nicely done to the upside, and it's a good time, man. We saw Pioneer and Exxon come together.
There's been a lot of these.
Yeah, there's been a lot of them. We saw Chevron and somebody come together as well, and you know, hopefully that works out. I feel like in the energy space, there is a lot of value to be had in some of these names. We talked about it yesterday on the recap show. We talked about dividend stocks and how I liked ExxonMobil. The recent deal with Pioneer, I feel like, was a pretty good one and not even very aggressive. They also have a nice plan to restructure through some of their initiatives for clean energy as well. So I think there could be something with all of that as well. So yeah, join us and potentially look at XOM for your long opportunities in oil and or CVX. I continue to look at XLE. I sort of have a Canadian equivalent, but XLE's kind of been hot garbage for a while as well. So I don't really. We'll talk about this more on the podcast. Watch tomorrow, man. Get your reading going tomorrow, or your reading and viewing and all that kind of stuff ready tomorrow with the podcast. But XLE has really been nothing. January to right now, it's virtually flat. So not great. I feel like if you want to collect dividends, you don't want to be in an ETF like this.
You brought that up.
You want to be in something like Chevron.
I had this up, and we never got. There wasn't a moment we're doing the rundown to talk about the financials. But I was randomly, like right before we came on air, I had this up. XLF.
Right.
Should actually say what you're talking about there. Stop burying the lead, Neil. I do that all the time at home. But XLF is on a great. Look at the. Whatever, I don't know, there's probably a name for this pattern because there usually is something, but I just see there's your support at like 30, there was your resistance 36. This is a weekly chart from May of 2024. Look at how big this level has been at 37 on XLF. And you are consolidating for the last 3 weeks above that level and not dropping down. And to boot, what happens next Friday, or next week, starting next Friday.
To a boot?
A boot? You get some financial earnings.
Yes,
you start getting those names coming through. So this is something that is in a great spot to explode. I mean, I have plenty of exposure to financials, but this is what I'm going to have my eye on. I'm looking for some ideas. where I might want to add in the short term that isn't just buying the dips on the stocks that I already have and like. But that's one that stands out because it's a huge level on a weekly chart to be going from resistance into support, which is, if you can't tell, one of my favorite things out there in trading. It's one of those rules, double click to get that back in. It's one of those, not rules, it's one of those setups that they can be easy to find because anybody can look to see where a stock bounced or where a stock retraced. Like you can miss that trade. Like where's your Affirm top? Just pull up Sean's Affirm chart.
Was 44.
Yeah, so look at 44. Like if tomorrow, 44, which is top because it was a double top. I'm not saying
I should have shorted that.
Not tomorrow, Monday. Like let's say on Monday, Affirm has some kind of positive news for some reason, I don't know. And it's gapping above to like 44.5 or something. I'm just throwing it out there. If it pulls back in and there's any strength at 44, I'd like the long there because it was such a good level. And you identify that, whether you traded it or not, by what did the market do there before. So it's always a good indicator.
Like the only stock I'm in right now. It's funny you mentioned that.
Well, that's to be honest, man. Like that's the chart that was up, and it's the first thing that came into mind. I'm trying to pick out a level. So
it's kind of the same thing here with Palantir, the same level, man. The 615. If it can get up there,
long's over.
Yeah, we like it here. The reason why, again, that was the close, so we pick on that one. If Palantir can get going again, we're gonna watch out.
Oh, no way.
Here's Palantir. Remember I talked about stocks that we like that are been getting hit. Here's Palantir's level, man. It's coming in. Like this is one that probably. I mean, we can't have the hat and not buy this when it hits the 200 period. I'm going to be buying Palantir down here.
Where is the hat?
Right over here. At $15, we're buying Palantir, and that's pretty damn close. So Monday, man, when I sit back down here, maybe over the weekend, I don't know, I have too many things to do, but we will put out some bids to get this on Palantir. Good trade today, well short, and we've made money here. This afternoon, man, Tesla was a banger there. We already talked about that. We've let Affirm go all the way back down. My out for Affirm is breaking through $43. Just got to make sure we have that in there. Ooh, no, my stop was $44.02. So again, look at this, man. We're in the money $1. My stop was 17 cents away from this. So pretty good so far. And then Palantir already got out just now. Hopefully it drops in. We're 3 minutes away. 3 minutes away from the imbalances. And by the way, that Chesapeake that we brought to you, that's still going.
Yeah.
So it's near the highs now. And again, you just got to do the math. I'm not familiar. I'd have to go back over to Pioneer to figure out what XOM paid for them as far as a premium. It's just like this is already 4%. It seems pretty good. I would say probably somewhere south of 10 is probably what they would wind up paying for this. So
I think usually my rule was always like something along the lines of if you have more than one deal in the last year in that sector, it's like, okay, well, if you have 3 of them, you take a blended average, but try to put more weight into the last premium in some fashion, and then you can come up with a potential. I was looking at this for a potential trade, and then I remember what happened to me when I did the same thing in Spirit Airlines. So it was like last year or something. There was deal talk on Spirit Airlines, and it did a gap up and was going all crazy, and it was wild. So I got into position looking for just like it was like a buy the dip, like a situation like this. It broke the high, and then buy a dip, and you're long, and it's breaking back out the high, and then the stock halted. The only problem is it didn't open up until the next day. So I ended up getting caught overnight trading late afternoon. In the last 15 minutes, I was trading it was a potential deal. They halted it, news pending, which was the company commenting on it, and then I ended up. It wasn't good. I think I lost like $1 on the trade, but there's nothing you could do about it. I was just getting out in the next day wherever it happened to open. So I don't like being in something like that when you're day trading and you have to be out in 10 minutes, and there is that risk that they could say, hey, we're awaiting a response, and all of a sudden there's something official coming out of it. I threw another bid in their Fisker to get out of it. That's what it's all about. Nick W, would you mind giving me your thoughts on Nike? I have puts and thinking about selling at 93, 94. Okay, so here's the last time I looked at Nike. There we go. The last time I looked at Nike, I was like, that's not a stock that I don't like the chart, let's put it that way. But I'm not going to sit here and say just because of the way it reacted and what it just recently did. And again, Nick, you just asked about like last week about a golden cross. This one just made a death cross, and it looks very bearish. The last time it was down here, there was a big support. You can see this little move down in here to 98. There was big support off that 50 period. But that is one heck of a rejection off the top. So like if I was already in a short, I'd be loving life. I don't know that I'd want to put a short on all the way down here from any kind of a setup. When I look at it, looking for a setup, I don't necessarily see one because the way I would trade it, that to me, that's a short here. It breaks this. You get this open at 106. Your stop is at 110. $4 worth of risk. Room to 98. That's exactly 2 to 1 off of 106. Yeah, off of 106 to 110 out, and then supports at 98. That's exactly 2 to 1. Like to me, you've already dropped that first $4. So like when I'm looking at trades, I was asking myself, where am I wrong? Where am I getting out? What's my entry? And where do I think this bad boy might go? And if it doesn't really line up, it's just too much trouble for me. But it is looking pretty weak. The imbalances dropped. And
What? Oh my God.
Okay, I mean, nothing. MPW is like a little small dollar stock. That's nothing. No one cares about Kenvue. TLT is over $1 million. Amazon 1.2 to buy. Intel's a 1 million sell. Intel always pairs off pretty quickly, usually. So those are the big two names out there that I'm seeing. Nothing really too exciting, but the early look was 460 to buy. It's 1 billion to the buy side, and the market's green, believe it or not. So that poll that we threw up here, 75%. Yes, Bears win again. I voted for red. What's interesting is the shorts all worked at that time, so they were all good. But the market is going to end up with the no side. Late week rally.
Well, no. You never know. You never know.
Okay, you're right. We have 10 minutes to go, and it's only 0.9.
So I voted green, as you guys know. We talked about it because I just thought there could have been such a bad week and such a bad month. I thought that maybe we could get to Greensville. I'm still not. I still think it's I don't. No matter which way you voted, only one way is going to be right. But I just feel like, I think everybody's won right now. I mean, it was a good poll. It's just at zero, just for fun. Like, I'm actually really surprised that the market is just closing like this. It's just like right at zeros. So whether or not we make a move, we've seen like 0.5% move in like the last 5 minutes. So if it finishes strong, then I think that's good. I think that's great for next week. And then you're gonna be looking at some of those levels that we already talked about today and say to ourselves, maybe we missed an opportunity to buy last week. But Michael Noss has talked about it, the first 5 days of the month being pretty negative, and then it's resulted in a pretty decent year. So, the market is not red often, and we'll be talking about that again on the podcast. So get ready to join us tomorrow for the podcast. Check it out tomorrow morning. Just go over immediately right now over to, nice shirt by the way, go right away over to Apple and just bookmark it, or Spotify. And just hit follow or whatever, and you'll be able to see that tomorrow morning. All right, out of Palantir, broke through 16, so that was out. Out of Affirm, it broke through 43. So we were really happy to take VWAP there, and guess what we wind up taking again? VWAP again. So back-to-back VWAP jacks. We did miss that very bottom. We were pretty lucky that we keystroked, and sometimes you got to work out. You got to get lucky to get lucky, right? So there it is, man. We got out by accident at 237. Our 238 wouldn't be out yet either. So whether or not this market tanks from here, I don't have any more positions. I don't have any more script orders. I don't have any more pending orders. So we're flat. We're done. Let's just have a quick look at Apple to see if Apple has any love behind it right now. No. So the imbalances there didn't seem to affect anything on Apple side of it. Neil talked about it. Brendan gave it to us. It's one with a B billion to buy. And oops, I got to get rid of this. It's not two BACs. I just get rid of that BRKR and only look at NYSE and NASDAQ. So Bank of America with the big buy. That's probably Warren thinking he doesn't have enough shares yet. You do, Warren, you do. Ford is a nice upside as well. Is that through 12 yet? No, I think that gets interesting at 12, of course. Kenvue, that's the beat up name from J&J that they dropped. And there's Amazon that we really like for the long term as well. This was a name that we bought in that $100 mark as well. Someone messaged me and said, actually, you remember Snake from university?
Of course I remember.
Snake messaged me and was like, dude, when is Amazon getting back to 150? And I said never to him. So I got to send him a message again that we already did. So this was, yeah. Well, actually, the funny thing is I didn't talk to him since, and it was back when Amazon was down here near $100. So I got to give that guy a call. It was back. It was back in the springtime there. So
funny thing is everyone's like, why is Sean's buddy called Snake?
Yeah, well, it's from Degrassi. There's a guy in Degrassi that looks exactly. Adair, I'll have to show you this guy's picture. You would think that it is Snake. He was your roommate in first year.
Yeah, all the way through. Yeah. I didn't know his real name until after we graduated.
Yeah, his real name is Adam.
Yeah, I didn't. I think it was a couple of years after. I'm like, you said something about like Adam. You're talking to Adam. I go, who are you? Who the hell are you talking about? He's like Snake. I'm like, oh, Snake. Yeah, no worries.
Meta's going to be green, eh? Well, the whole market's green. I mean, up 0.7.
I got something that's not green. There's something for next week that I'm big time interested in. I don't. You know what? Now that I look at this, hopefully Liato's not doing this for Sharif's sake, because Xpeng. And they had a vehicle launch. The reason why this is not good, they had a vehicle launch which was hyped. I saw the headline and read like a first couple lines. I didn't really care that much about Xpeng, so I didn't think I was going to trade it to the long side, so I didn't really care that much. But if you have news that you think is good and you flat bottom break and close at the lows, that's bad. So this is $13. Look at the flat bottom on the daily. There was a good level at 12. If you show me a flat bottom break at 13 with the next level down at 12, I'm generally speaking going to like it. So I'm going to get out the trusty iPad and put in Xpeng. Whatever, I'll do it in a second because I should be getting out of Fisker. There's 5 minutes to go. I'm on the bid. I'm probably just going to have to cross the midpoint to get out. And there you go. I actually ended up punching the midpoint. And then it hit the bid. So I'm out of Fisker. But anyways, Xpeng, when I see something like that, I just want to... It doesn't mean it breaks 13, but if it breaks 13, I don't want it to do it without me looking for a short off a level like that. So Xpeng is going on the list for next week. Apple really did bounce, but it didn't bounce off 180. And that's the thing about trading. Someone said look for straightforward trades. You know, I thought bouncing off 180 was straightforward. It didn't quite get close enough that I was going to execute. But if you took it and that suited your risk reward, congratulations for you. It is a good level to be sure. And Molfar, remember Neo at 7. I do remember. I'm not saying Xpeng can't bounce, but if it does break, I do want to go short. Like I'm not going to go short at 13.05. I'm going to go short if it breaks 13 even. I want to make sure that level gets taken out. So only about 3.5 minutes to go. All positions out, all orders canceled, and now all my scripts are canceled.
Yeah, same thing. Like I'm at CPU usage of 100 again. So I guess just as the day rolls through, man, Chrome is just turning out to be a crazy pig. And I just need to figure out, people said yesterday to use, Edge, Microsoft Edge. Well, Bing is the search, but
yeah,
you know, they should just change,
Why don't they just make it the same thing? Why you gotta confuse me, Mike?
They should just, why don't they just call their browser Bing? It's not like anybody uses Edge anyways. Just call it Bing and rebrand it. There was a story there about Copilot.
Yeah.
And I can't forget what the, they were going to put Copilot onto something, and I don't remember what it was.
No, it was in the Windows. There's a key. So there's a.
Oh, that's what it was on keyboard. That's
right now, like
what it was.
if you hit Windows.
What?
Okay, I think, is it Windows C? Windows, if I hit Windows C, I don't know, it's supposed to, yeah, so there it goes.
Oh, Cortana opens up.
Can we come, there we go. So I hit Windows C, and then it's like, well, I'm not going to necessarily do
Cortana, though.
That's Cortana. I thought it was supposed to, anyways. That clearly didn't do anything.
No, but it doesn't matter. The idea is that it's getting better and bigger and better for everybody's use of ChatGPT and OpenAI and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, man, it's changing the world as we speak. You saw Michael Noss today with that cool picture. He actually sent me some more pictures as well because I was like, that's cool. I asked him to put all of Trader TV Live in the middle of that picture.
Yeah, the Bears with the Bulls.
Yeah, like why not just put all of us?
The Bears.
Yeah, like me, you, Sharif, Brendan, Adair, everybody just standing in front of that corner of Broad and Main, or Broad and Wall Street there, because that would be cool in and amongst the Bears. But he said you can't use whatever the ChatGPT or whatever version he has.
Have us kung fu fighting and kicking the crap out of the Bears. That'd be.
Yeah. It's just the only people that you can use images are the AI generated. Like you.
Oh, you can't.
You can't just say use Neil from Trader TV Live. Now I'm sure there are other ones like Bard and all that stuff. That's what I'm waiting for is a smarter image AI, which I'm sure it exists already. My wife uses Canva Pro. Which I know is pretty good.
My bro uses it all the time.
He likes Canva Pro? Okay, yeah, instead of Photoshop. So, all right, let's just go over to Apple real quick here into the end of the day just to see what happens with Apple. Apple, a nice bump off 180. Look, write this down on your sticky note in your iPad, on your notebook, because that 180 level is going to be in play on Monday. Like, I had someone that messaged me and said, oh, Apple's not getting to 183, Tesla's not getting to 240. Well, those are levels that we looked at, we waited for them, and they happened, right? Apple right off the jump was pumping again. And this is back-to-back days that it's done this, and we've just sat there and said, thank you very much, and grabbed that short. So we'll wait to see if Apple does this. Adara, we have 30 seconds or 40 seconds if you're busy. Oh, I was gonna say she's not even there, Kat. All right, she's going here. Adira will be there for the close. I was going to get Kat, but she's not here.
Her coat's there, but
Oh yeah, she's here somewhere. But again, I want to give a big thank you to CompuCare. Is it CompuCare Team?
delicious, by the way.
They're in the chat. Delicious. I did get your note about you not having a Twitter account. Unfortunately, I haven't updated anything to Instagram yet. When I do, I'll hopefully tag you on that one. Thank you so much. Everybody around here loved them. The guys, I was
They
two.
polished them.
I feel like it was more than 2 dozen. That's felt like that was.
Oh, that was
were
more
those
than
8?
2. That's more than 2 dozen. That's
Yeah, that was a
like,
30
there's
or
like
40
20 in those
donuts.
things.
That's what I figured. Like, so
Yeah.
anyways, thank you so much. The guys behind us are crushing those, and if they're not, they will after this. And Neil will as well, and I will, and we all will. 2 and 1.
Bring it. Nah, it doesn't really matter.
All right. Well, I just saw for now. My Chrome is completely disabled right now. It's not even working at all.
I got
so,
the off snap a second ago.
me too. I cannot move my Chrome. It is here. See, you can show the screen here.
Booyah.
And there it is.
I've
Frozen.
alerted
I
Robin
can't click
Rain.
tabs, bro. No tabs are changing.
That computer will be fine up there.
It's amazing that we trade on these really great computers and everything like that, and it's like, thank God our software is.
Well,
is-
that's so the cool thing. And anyone at Day Trade the World knows this,
Oh,
which is
it
actually
just
really
loaded.
cool. Which is actually a really cool thing. Like the Chrome can be chewing it up, but like P per weight will be fine, which is a little bit. It'll be weird. And then the other thing that can happen is like we can get like internet slowage, but
It's 100
trading platform will be
Yeah.
okay. Like I can lose my ability to do emails and whatnot, but then the trading.
It's 100% Chrome. I already did it. Like
This is, look,
I
it's
don't.
ridiculous. Look at mine.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yours is 97% CPU usage. Mine is literally 100 and frozen everything.
Let's go.
Okay. Yeah, plans for the weekend? Just chilling out or?
Chilling is exactly the right word. We're doing a last hurrah tomorrow at Canada's Wonderland.
Oh, we went to that. It's great.
Well, it's like our
But too
fourth
bad,
time.
man. Oh, you've already been this year.
Oh, we've been multiple times. But
I was
all
gonna say
the-
there's not much to do, but
all
you
in
got
the winter.
4 times. It's fun. I like those little fire pits.
It's cold.
We paid $6 a hot chocolate and each and sat at the fire pit. Well worth it. Not really, but it was really fun.
We have the mugs that you just go and you can refill.
Oh yeah, see, smart. Yeah, if we were going multiple times, we would have got the refill mug for
you
$20
need the hot
or
chocolate,
whatever.
man. It's gonna be minus like 5 or something.
And then we never made it to Kidsville though, because my kids, they are old enough now that they do everything. But can't Erin go in?
She can go on a bunch, not all.
But can't she go on Thunder Run?
Yeah,
The one-
Thunder Run is literally her favorite. That's the
Right.
first thing we do when we get there.
Good.
She can get on like the medium rides, and she's kind of over some of the kid rides, but she can't do the big roller coaster.
Yeah, the kid rides are kind of like. Oh, what about is Ghoster Coaster open? one
Not
in-
always. It was.
Okay. Ghoster Coaster is like a wood kind of small roller coaster that's literally 80 years old. The one, Canada's Wonderland has one that goes, huh? Yeah, there's also Great Canadian Mine Buster is pure wood.
The Butt Buster.
I like the Butt Buster. I get a headache on these things now, man. The Bat is a good one that goes backwards.
That was my joint.
That's not open.
No, that's not open.
You know what one I used to like a lot that they got rid of was Jet Scream. Used to go like this and then eventually all the way over.
When I worked there in high school, I worked the jet, and the best one. I won't tell the story because I don't have time for it. But I was once I went out on a Friday night, and then I was working at I was young, and I had a few whatever. I was a little bit hungover,
Yeah.
and I was operating on Jet Scream, and it came in, and the thing is tinted, and let's just say I was half asleep when it came in. Everyone's waiting to get released from the ride, and I'm just kind of like chilling out. Zoned out. It's all good. We're gonna wrap it up here.
Oh, wrap it up, right, Fabian? Why do you
Okay,
want us
what's
to
up?
wrap it up?
Whatever, man.
I told Ramin I'm going to take a break here before we do this podcast.
Get yourself a water.
No.
Maybe a
Ramin
coffee.
said no water, no nothing, no hydration, no replacing the mic batteries. Now we got to get out of here.
Yeah,
I can't even see the chat because we're all frozen up here. But I want to say thank you to everybody. Bears versus Bulls, man. Fabian, Ramin, Brendo, Adara's over here, Sharif, our guests today. Thank you so much for coming through on that one.
Noss in the morning.
Yeah, go check those guys out. Michael Noss as well. Yeah, it's been a good week, and it's going to be even a better one next week, so make sure you join us. From everybody here at Trader TV Live,
Check out the podcast tomorrow morning.
that's a wrap.
Go.
Ciao.